Alright, welcome back. This is Black Lodge Trivia Night, and we're going to be taking another quick look, well, not another quick look, a quick look at another CRPG, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. This is 2007's, as you can see on the screen, Lord of the Rings Online, and I'm not going to promise a full playthrough of an MMO. I'm not going to do that, but what I wanted to do is I figured I would do a couple of sessions just to talk about this. Not as an MMO, because I'm not at all an MMO player. I've never really clicked with the type of gameplay, except for Lord of the Rings Online. And like I said, this game came out in 2007, and I don't remember if I was in a beta, or if a friend of mine, a good friend of mine who's on our Discord, played it first and said he liked it. I actually don't recall the origin story of how we got into this, but I remember thinking, it's kind of a nice game. I'll give this MMO a shot. And they just happened to be offering a lifetime membership on sale, like for 30% off. And I was like, you know what? It wasn't nothing. It was like $200-300. Usually it could have been like $400 or $500 for the lifetime membership. I got for like $200 or something. Maybe it was like usually $4 and I got it for $2, or I don't know. Best $200 I ever spent on a game, because 17 years later, I sometimes still duck into this one and check it out. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show Lord of the Rings Online, not because, again, the gameplay is amazing. It's definitely that old school Clunk 2007 MMO style, but because of its world, which you're going to say is Middle-earth, of course, duh. But man, do they fully realize the world of Middle-earth. So you can't really, I know I've got my stupid face over it. You got a choice of races. You got man, high elf, dwarf, stout, axe, river hobbit. You're going to see these little coins here. Like I said, I have a lifetime membership, so I get access to certain races and classes that in the free-to-play model you might need to buy. Like stout axe, you might need to buy. Bjorning, you might need to buy. But the cool thing about this is that a lot of the different races, I don't know how much it varies, they have sort of different opening stories. Like the elf has its... Are the elf and the dwarf the same opening story, and then they branch after the very beginning? I can't recall. Man has its own opening. Hobbit has its own opening. A lot of people think that the Hobbit opening is the best. And if you really want to... I won't spoil that for you. I think... I don't know if it's necessarily the most interesting, but I think it's the most fully realized in Middle-earth terms. It feels the most authentic to the setting. But I'm going to go with Man, because that's going to start us outside of Bree, and, I think it's kind of an interesting opening. And then as far as classes go, let me see. Some of these are new. Brawler, Mariner. Mariner's brand new. That just came out. Those are the two newest ones that I can see. I've played a Burglar, Champion, Guardian, Hunter, a little bit of Minstrel, Warden. Did I say Burglar? Yeah, so you can't be a Bjorning class, as you can see, unless you're a Bjorning. And they're sort of like a shape-shifting fighter druid, which makes sense. I'm going to choose a Warden. And there's a reason why. Wardens are medium armor tanks. You can see they sort of go spear and shield. They are a class difficulty advanced, but I've played a Warden quite a bit, and it's, I think, my favorite. They're advanced because they... What's a Hunter? Basic. I was going to say, a Warden is advanced because there's a little bit more to remember. But the reason why I'm choosing them, the two I would choose is either a Hunter or a Warden for this particular demonstration, because they have the ability to sort of warp around the map. They sort of fast travel. And I think that'll just make things a little bit easier. Hunters, of course, glass cannon kind of things, massive damage per second, a little bit fragile. Wardens, even though they're medium armors, they have a series of abilities that let them attack and self-heal. You sort of go back and forth between the two, so you can sort of really manage a fight even when you get overwhelmed. So I'm going to play the movie.
The Warden is a master of the spear and javelin, sworn to protect those that cannot protect themselves. At home, in the thick of melee, the Warden weaves powerful combinations of attacks to fell her foes and strengthen her own resolve against the Dark Lord.
Okay, so get a little intro movie. I mean, like one of the other classes, I played Wardens, Champion, and Burglar the most. The Burglar I really like. I don't know if a lot of people like it as a solo class, but...
The Burglar is a master of stealth and misdirection. She is able to confound her foes with a variety of clever and debilitating tricks. She also excels at attacking from the shadows, allowing her to take her enemies by surprise.
So yeah, the Burglar gameplay often involves, going into stealth mode, which allows you to just basically walk around entire areas without being seen. And then you open with a large, damage-producing attack, and then you create, I think it's called a gambit system, and it involves, rolling d6s, and, that's the strength of the particular gambit. It's just a little bit of randomness, so not every attack or every setup does the exact same amount of damage, and then you can increase that gambit. You can do some things. If it's, at a 4 level, you can make it a 5, and then it goes back down to 4. You can keep going. And it's a lot going on. Rune Keepers are sort of mages. I think they can do a little bit of healing. Minstrel is your healing class. Lore Master is your wizard class. Hunter, obviously I was saying DPS range. Guardian is your main tank. Champion is a dual-wielding class that's a little tougher than a Hunter, but does a lot of damage, especially AoE. Captain is a buffer. Brawler, I have no idea. But I'm going to, again, like I said, I'm going to choose a Warden because of the ability to fast travel, the fact that it's durable, and because I've played them a lot. Now for my name, I think the music's going to shut off here when I tab away, so I apologize. So I'm going to go with, let me see if I can do this. Copy and paste. Well, that's not right at all. Okay, so can you have a space in your name? The answer is no. I'm going to change this to LOISTEDUBH. Now, I can't get the accents in there, and that's fine. But if it lets me have that name, that is Gaelic for Black Lodge. I don't know how you pronounce the LOISTEDSTE part. The DUBH is pronounced do, do this, do that, but I think in Gaelic it's pronounced do. Starting tutorial, Shadows of Angmar, that's the original game that was levels 1 to 50 and is, for my money, the best part of the game. But you can choose new tutorials as well. I'm going to go with the classic, just because, again, one of the reasons why I think this game is so good is because of the world and story. I don't know what this... So I'm good with that. So now we, I guess, create character. Oh, I guess we're done. All right. I don't really care about haircuts and stuff like that, so let's jump in. And we'll get started. Again, this is very much a classic MMO, old school.
A chance encounter with brigands upon the road leads to captivity. You awaken with the Ranger Strider before you. As he urges you to act quickly, you realize you have become involved in matters much greater than yourself.
Okay, so, typical WASD movement. Down here, you've got, your... I think I need to do something really quickly. I'm going to do some of this. I'm going to move this quest tracker down. I'm going to move this down a little bit so you can see. I assume this is normal for MMOs, but yeah, again, the UI is fully customizable. I'm just going to get a couple things out of the way so that and then the stupid thing is I had this all set up. I went through it on a different character, it didn't carry over. So I apologize for that. So here's my opponent's vitals. Move my vitals over. So again, usually these are in the upper left corner. I feel like that covers it. One other thing I want to do is I want to go to my settings if I can, and I want to up the UI a little bit. You can see this thing maxes out at DirectX 11. There was some talk about doing a 4K graphics overhaul, blah blah blah. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want to say this game is I don't know what to say about this game. This game has been out for 14 years, so it's been a good run, right? At the same time, 3 years in, they went free to play, and who knows it's ever quite recovered. Recovered's a strong word. I don't know the kind of business it's doing, right? So I can't say if oh yeah, no, this game is fine, it's doing gangbusters. But when they canceled the graphics patch that was going to introduce 4K elements, I gotta say it was a little disappointing. Okay, Gambit, but default. I will say this is important, so let me reposition that somewhere. The Gambit default, I'm gonna put up. No, because you can't see it then. The Gambit default is how you attack as a warden. You string together, so you've got a shield bash and a quick thrust. And then you have here a warden's taunt, which is an aggressive shout. It attracts attention. And then this skill updates to the correct Gambit as icons are added to the Gambit display. So you can do 2 attacks, fire a Gambit, 1, 2, 3 attacks, fire a Gambit. So you create these patterns, almost like Dance Dance Revolution or something, and then when you enter the correct inputs for the pattern for the certain kind of thing you want to do, so a heal might be a 3-2, 3-2, 1, and then you fire off Gambit. Does that make sense? I think I want that in 5 for now. But yeah, as you can see, if you played an MMO before, this is a typical MMO interface. You use the 1, 2, 3 keys. These things are on a cooldown. None of this is exactly... Why is that up there? None of this is exactly, blow your mind gameplay for an MMO. But, okay, so right off the bat, Strider, right? Aragorn, he's here. Camera movement, okay, we probably don't need. Okay, so right click, let's nope, that's how you get loot, quest, and boom, boom, boom. I guess I don't need to do anything. Let's see. We're opening the satchel, inventorying items. We're getting gear satchel. I don't know what that means. You get your inventory. You've got your bags, and because again this has a free-to-play model, it's very much you can buy extra bag slots, you can buy a bunch of stuff. I again don't have to deal with that too much because of the fact that I have this lifetime membership, but I'm gonna I get this bonus shield. I might get all sorts of stuff I'm not gonna worry about. How do you... Okay, so this is just going to give me some bonuses until... again, it's a lot of numbers. I have to say, I'm going to just be honest with you. You don't need to pay attention to much of anything. At least I don't. If you really want to max it out, you absolutely can. But I do not. I 100% do not pay attention to any of these. If I look at something and the numbers go up, then I just, sure, I'll take that one. But otherwise, I pay almost no attention to it because, again, like I said, I'm not an MMO player. I don't care. But I love the world. So, okay, so we got some things equipped here. You can, set a cosmetic outfit if you want. I don't know. What is this? So there you see, like, so now that's my cosmetics, right? So no matter what I put on in that waist slot, that's what I'm going to have. I don't know if I have other cosmetics. I have a Starlight Cloak. Cloak of Redemption. That one. I like the Cloak of Redemption more. If I had to pick. Oh, wait, it's down here. Sorry. Again, so yeah, if you care about, the fashion souls of it, you can sort of set yourself up to look like that. Great. Wonderful. Who cares? Let's get back. So again, dealing with Strider.
Hurry, friend. We must test your will to fight.
Okay. Telling us how to play. There's our inventory. Right-click on an enemy once to begin auto-attacking. Okay. So you can see I'm sort of scrolling through my 1, 2, 3 attacks. First one is the spear attack. Second one is a shield bash. Okay, well, it didn't let me do that. Okay.
Well done. Let us press on.
So now we're going to follow Strider outside. So every single one of them, like, yeah, has like some kind of like mini story going on. So here we are. We're going to teleport out.
Here is where we must part ways.
Okay, so as here we part for a time. I should have picked a name I could pronounce. Black Lodge. You should be free. You should free the 2 innocent hobbits also being held captive here. Celandine, Brandybuck, and Mundo Saxville Baggins. I must search for signs of the servant of Mordor and learn what I can of his connections to the Blackwalds. Amdir, my fellow ranger, is making a safe path for us. He'll be waiting for us at the main gate. Free Celandine first. It is Mundo they want alive, for they have mistaken him for someone more valuable. Wink, wink. When you have both hobbits safe, seek Amdir near the main gate. Then we will make for Archet, where we will find safety. So, if you haven't figured it out from that wink, wink, this game takes place in parallel to The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. And what I like about it is that it will sort of hint at the main story. It will glance across the main story, but it never really... It doesn't feel like fan fiction, if you know what I mean. Like the One Ring from Free League. Sometimes when I read through that, I'm just like, oh my god, this feels like fan fiction in a way. And I don't like it. So we're going to go off on our quest. Oh, there we go. How'd you do? So again, you're just sort of putting together, and then you can fire off a gambit. Okay, experience and leveling up. Sure. Classic. You can see the leveling up bars down here. Again, this is not super interesting, nor is it super important to what I want to show you. Can I fire off a gambit with those 3? I don't think so. Let's see. Forgetting house. I don't own a house. I'm forgetting how to... I have some muscle memory of the gambits. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And as you level up, you can, right now I've got a gambit of 2. So I can do, like, gambit powers of, like, many stories in Middle-earth will unfold before your eyes. Be sure to pay attention. So again, that's like in-game storytelling. And as we were saying, what they've done is they've mistaken the other hobbit for Frodo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was starting to worry that this little misadventure would be the end of me. The brigands are appalling folk. My friend Mundo's nearby. I think we must save him as well. The brigands have been saying terrible things. we'll need a distraction, and I know just what to do. Just need a bit of a flame, going full arson. I guess it's the brigands' camp, so who cares? All right. So again, usually flaming ring over their head means it's like a main plot mission. So now we got to go find Strider. But here we are.
Go back to the shadow, fallen king.
Oh no, Amdir. The ranger we're supposed to meet.
You will not harm these folk.
So you could see sort of us cowering. A lot of times when you're in the presence of great evil, you cower. And if you look up here, you can see my health bar was not at full strength. So they don't have hit points in this game. They have morale. And, it's, mechanically the same thing, except that when you're in the presence of tremendous evil, it breaks your morale. And I feel like narratively that makes more sense than just, oh, now your hit points are less. So let's talk to Strider. This guy's been sort of struck. He's in bad shape.
I regret that I was but a moment too late, but all is not lost.
Amdir has been pierced with a Morgul blade. We need to leave this place at once. Archet is nearby and will serve as a good resting place.
Wounded by a black rider, the ranger Amdir escaped with his charges into the wild, making his way back to the village of Archet.
There, Captain Brackenbrook, a retired sellsword, has allowed Strider and his companions to stay and take respite from their cares.
All right, so far so good. So now we've got to, let me just see something really quickly. Graphics, window, blah, blah, blah. This is an old game, most probably max out just about anything you want. Let me see if I can raise this just a little bit. Okay, so here we are. Now we're in the starting town of Archet. We've got a little map. This is the starting area. And, you can see Tacombe, which is an area just outside of Bree. But, again, you got the Blackwald's Roost. This is where sort of the Blackwalds were the people that had kidnapped the hobbits and were working with the, oh man, I'm forgetting the name of the nine riders on the horse. So, you've got, like, in typical MMO, you've got your
How can I be of service?
your trainers for your specific class, so you can mostly skip these. But honestly, like, do I still have it set up? Yeah, okay, set up auto run. You can see another player there. All of that's fine, but again, it's a bunch of stuff that I do not care about because mostly I am here for the story. So let's see, how do I get my quest log? Quest log, you can manage your quests, etc., etc. So I have no quests at the moment. Eventually it's going to put a tracker over here. And again, it's just going to be like, you rack up a bunch of quests, and then you go knock them down out in the wild, level up. And you can see over here is the mini-map, and there's a little ring right there. So that's where I want to go for advancing the story quest. So again, you get close, and then you see
as you're awake.
Okay.
The fellow Amdir seems very ill.
So, we know there's Mundo, the guy we saved, they thought was Frodo. She's telling us that Amdir has been, of course, stabbed by the Morgul blade and is very sick, so we need to go help him out, and we're going to get to choose one of these quest items. So we're going to accept that. Now we've got intro to Strider's charge. How are we doing? I think that's all stepping on top of each other, so let me change that. Quest tracker, we're going to move it down just a little bit below that panel of information. There we go. All right, so now it's going to send us over here to Amdir, who's being cared for by Strider.
Do not trouble yourself on my account. It is only a chill.
So, the blade of the Black Rider pierced only my shoulder, though not deeply. I am chilled, but it is no matter. Thank you for your concern, but it is Strider for whom I fear. So let's talk to Strider. Again, now I know I was saying, it doesn't feel like fan fiction, and then here we are talking to Aragorn, but if you think about it, he was doing stuff around here.
Too many deeds to be done, all pressing, and none of them easy.
So what we're going to do is we have a choice of equipment. We have light armor, but we're a medium armor class, so let's choose the medium armor.
Perhaps you can help, my friend. Captain Brackenbrook will not heed my warnings.
Okay. So he's saying, some stuff's afoot here, and the leader of the town is not listening to me. He's not taking me seriously.
I don't like the look of those rangers one bit.
You say the Black Wolves mean to attack us, but I do not believe it, not without proof. Those brigands have always been about. They are unruly, but not murderous. So he's not going to go start a war with them when they've mostly lived, leaving each other alone. So now, okay. Why should we trust a stranger over the captain?
Hello there.
This guy doesn't think the Black Wolves are very competent, so he does not believe Strider. And you can see, a lot of quests are very fetch questy, right? Let's see what she says.
What can I do for you?
Okay, so she also trusts the captain. Which again, you could see why that makes sense. One more of the town folk.
Why are you bothering me?
So yeah, 3 for 3. They do not believe Strider. So we're going to tell Strider that, hey, whatever it is you're worried about, you haven't convinced them.
Alas for peaceful folk everywhere. It is an enormous task to convince them that evil people with evil intentions will commit evil deeds.
It seems that I cannot leave yet. Amdir needs my help, and I have pressing work to do in Archet to get these people ready for the impending storm. If you help me, perhaps I can leave before tonight. So we're going to choose the medium gloves.
Before you try to fight, you must learn what skills you may from the trainer.
Okay, you can now open your traits panel with J key. Okay, harder and train points. Again, there's going to be about 250,000 different things you can you can upgrade. So, and again, in MMO parlance, it lets you build specs, so you could have your rating spec and your I don't know, leveling spec. I have no idea. I don't care about it. Like I said, any of that stuff. So I couldn't tell you which way to go. And then there's 3 sort of paths you can go down. Determination is sort of you're more of a tank. You're drawing aggro, The middle one is just, you just go all in on attack. I don't even remember how to do this, to be honest with you. But yeah, you can choose different, and then, because it's free to play, if you can buy extra specs if you want. So anyway, this is race traits. I thought you got one to start with as a man, and then these are virtue traits. So there's again tons of things you can grind. I just whatever. So let's see what we got down here. Hampering Javelin. I don't know if that's part of the... I don't know if that's part of the Gambit system, though. Can I just drag? I don't know how to do this. Anyway, so let's go talk to our trainer. It used to be a little bit simpler, but then again, the Warden... This was before the Warden was in the game, so... Okay.
Stay a moment.
Let's see. So I'm glad to see you, friend. So let's go. We're going to start the training. Use skill defensive strike on the training dummy. I think that's... do I have defensive strike? Hint. Wardens use combinations of their basic skills, such as quick thrust and shield bash, to build more powerful gambit attacks. To use your defensive strike skill, attack a training dummy with your shield bash twice. Then the gambit default skill to change to defensive strike. Use defensive strike, etc., etc. So, here we go. Let's target a training dummy. So right off the bat, I'm auto-attacking with range at a spear, but let's do double that, and then did I do it, though? And you can sort of see the icon down here changing. So. All right, so we're gonna automatically get one of these, and now we get to, I guess, choose one of these. I don't know why you would choose. I guess you can, technically speaking, you can use different weapons. It doesn't have to be a spear, but I usually, oh, crap, I usually stick with a spear.
Greetings.
Oh. Perfect. But can we train yet?
How can I be of service?
Not yet. Okay. Let's see. Talk to Strider. Again, it's a lot of back and forth, which, as I've said, I am not an MMO player, but
Do you feel confident in what you have learned?
I stuck with this one just because of the world, which I know we're not getting to much yet. So, we're going to finish now. We're going to get a little bit of coin.
Dear, my poor old friend. A shadow has crept over him.
Okay. We have little time, and we must stretch what time we have by doing two things at once. Amdir needs Medicine Black Lodge, and quickly. King's Foil, baby. And you should also ask Captain Brackenbrook if he knows any that grow in this part. So we're going to, again, talk to Brackenbrook. King's Foil, eh?
The look of those rangers one bit.
So you're going to start trying to win everyone's trust on behalf of Strider. My best man, Calder Cobb, is having trouble with wolves of late. Okay, so let's go talk to Calder Cobb. You know, again, we're going to now start to build up the quest log. I thought Calder Cobb was out here. So you go to the main map, you know, you can see, like, that's probably where Calder Cobb is right there. And then this red area, as you can see, the red key is probably where the King's Foil is. So if you should have your morale break / you know, it's dying, you end up at back of these circles. So first things first, like, you know, the graphics, again, have not changed a ton since 2007. It has improved because they did some DX11 stuff that added foliage. Up close, I think you could argue that...
Well, well, if it isn't the rumor monger.
That's just rude. Up close, you could say, maybe it doesn't look that great. I still find the graphics of this game appealing. He's saying, let's go kill some wolves. it's going, it's not doing the, and then you check your map. Now you can see we've got 2 areas. Orange is the wolves. Red is the king's foil. But you can see that there's a ring in the center of Bronwyn's Folly. Bron? I don't know how you pronounce that. That has a ring. So that's probably going to be like the alpha wolf. That's the source of the wolf problem. So, I'm not going to spar. That's, I don't know if sparring is like PvP, but I'm not looking to do that. So I'm going to come at this guy with... See if I can get some gambits going, some defensive strike. I guess I don't have the 1-2 gambit yet. Okay. So I guess the only gambit I might have is... So as you can see, then there's still some other players out here in the world. That dark blue means that it should be an easier fight. You're probably 1 level over. White means you're on par with that level, so it should be pretty easy. As a warden, once you get like everything going, I've faced stuff that was like 1 or 2 levels above without too many issues. Again, it's just going to be like, let's see, we've defeated 3 of 4. Again, it's just going to be a lot of like checkbox kind of quests, right? It's definitely not. It's definitely not some game-breaking, pioneering game. We're not blowing through, the enemies. We're doing decent damage. Other would probably, like we were playing a hunter, it'd probably melt. Okay, so now... search atop Bronwyn's Folly for the source of the wolves. So we can go up here. Now, when I played a burglar, the cool thing was I could just, again, I would go into stealth mode, sneak past all of the wolves on my way in, and then deal with whatever was inside. But here, because we are... unable to sneak, we have to... brute force our way in. You can see up ahead is a king's foil plan. And so what I've been sort of saying is the magic of this game for me is the world. And in some ways that includes... I've got a deft strike with... Okay. The LOTRO store. Here we go. Get stuff to pay. I don't need to pay too much. And the world and, the story. It gives you, like I was saying, we're not doing anything groundbreaking in terms of mechanics. But it's already, I feel like, set up this kind of compelling narrative that I've bought into a little more easily than most MMOs because I'm familiar with Lord of the Rings, because I grew up playing Middle-earth role-playing. And, as I was saying in a Dragon's Dogma thing, I'm always looking for, I'm always looking for the game that gives me the feeling of this cover. For this is the Middle-earth role-playing box set from way back. And Dragon's Dogma did that. This game does it in a lot of ways. Not because the mechanics are necessarily fun, but because... Here we go. As you can see, I'm starting to get... So, 1, 2 gives me the boot. 2, 3, does that do anything? Not yet. 1, 1, which is double strike, gives me a deft strike, which does extra damage. How are we doing on King's Foil? Got 3 King's Foil. But yeah, the story, they set up like, okay, we've got like the Blackwalled people around here. They're, posing a threat to the town. They were helping one of the 9 because they're looking for Frodo. you know, the local leader of the town does not trust the Rangers, which I feel like the Rangers always had sort of like this weird reputation. Okay, so we got the King's Foil. Like, I feel like they were sort of like these stragglers, these vagabonds that, you know, proper folk didn't always know what to make of. There we go. Okay. Now we're getting to... where we need to go for this. The top of... There's a strange banner atop the stairs here. The Wolf Master approaches. You must defeat him. Where is he there? You have defeated the Black-Walled Wolf Master. So now, okay, so now we've beaten the 2 quests. We can go turn them in. But again, something's going on here, right? Because intro, the Wolves of the Ruins, it says, ask Calder Cobb why he set you up to be ambushed. So he didn't send you here to, like, hey, help me out. He sent you here to get jumped, hoping you'd be taken care of. So again, in my mind, there's a bit more story going on. I've played, so I should say, you know, as far as MMOs go, like, just for my bona fides, if you will, I played a chunk of World of Warcraft. Not, like, thousands of hours, but that's probably the other one I've played the most. And what I'll say is the gameplay in that is similar to this, probably more polished. Maybe the gameplay for the classes is more fun. But the world always felt like levels, if that makes sense, right? It never felt like a world. It felt like a video game series of levels.
A weakling like you defeated the Wolf Master?
So how is it you stand before me, a weakling like you defeated the Wolf Master? So finish now. Let's see what happens if I accept. I don't know what that means. It says I cannot harm target. I don't know. So I have no idea what I just did. Okay, there we go. So I guess you can... I honestly hate stuff like this. Let's see what if I defensive strike him twice. One of these used to heal me. So there you go. PvP, I guess. I just got bonked. Whatever. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know if he was offering to join up. I assume not, but because it was saying specifically spar. But okay, so let's head into town. He might be a champion from what the gameplay I was seeing. A lot of yells, two-handed weapon. And like I said, champions are very good, like, damage per second. Especially to a crowd, if you care about that stuff. So, let's go talk to Strider. Let's hand this stuff in.
Calder Cobb is a traitor. Danger has found you earlier than I predicted.
How did he know of you, if he was at his post? So, there's a lot of questions going on, right? So, suddenly you're like...
I cannot decide which is more dangerous right now. Calder Cobb's treachery, or the ignorance of Captain Brackenbrook.
So we've got two problems, right? There's traitors in the midst, and there are there's a town leader who refuses to acknowledge the danger. So, one thing we need to do is we need to... I'd like to get a second... I'm going to put this up here. So maybe these stories in World of Warcraft were as compelling. I never really connected with the world.
Let me go!
So let me go. I'm a friend of Calder Cobb's and I'm innocent at that. This idiot jailer won't heed me. Otto quiets down when you tell him you know of Calder Cobb's treachery. So you think you know the plan? Don't be smug. It's too late. By now the gears of war be turning down in the south and quick. Soon I'll be free. And you'll be the one in shackles, or worse. Let's talk to the jailer. Again, you know, it's not like...
What do you need?
It is good to make your acquaintance, Black Lodge. I noticed you were questioning Otto. Does that mean that his mutterings have been truthful? Yes, I do believe what you've come to Archet to tell. It is unprecedented, but all signs are showing that the Black Walls mean to attack us. How is it that they have the means? Good question. I don't want to spar. If Brackenbrook does not believe you, you may tell him that I do for what it's worth. Okay, so now we've got one person on board. So let's talk to Brackenbrook.
How can you say this?
This is a serious charge, Black Lodge. Calder Cobb has been loyal to me in this town since he was a boy. Not anymore. Finished now? Okay, so every level you may be granted new skills and passive abilities, etc., etc. So now we're level 4. Does Ned speak true of the prisoner? If so, we would be wise to investigate Otto's threat of trouble in the south. I'll not question Calder Cobb's lifetime of loyalty if there's no truth to back it up. But if you and Ned are right in your suspicions, this will be a very bad situation for us. Cal Sprigley's farm is to the south, near the gate of the town. If aught is going on, he'll be the one to know. So, we're going to do that. We're going to talk to the trainer really quickly. Let's see what Mundo...
Hey, you there!
So here's like your typical collect 4 of these, get your side quests.
Oh, you look so changed since last night.
And the reason why, you know, it's good to just grab a bunch of these if you're out in the world anyway. You know, you get some XP for them or whatever. Train warden skills. Do we have anything yet? Nothing yet. I don't want this guy... I feel badly. I don't want this guy following me around the whole time. I'm not going to spar with him. At the same time, you feel... I mean, I don't feel badly, but... You know, I don't know what the player count is in some of these early areas, so, you know, people probably are looking for fun however they can get it. So let's see. Orange is probably the boar meat. Yellow is something else. Red is intro to the south at Sprigley's farm. So we're going to be heading into Sprigley's farm down here in the south anyway. Maybe we'll just grab whatever we need to grab while we're there. You can see now that we are level... a higher level. All of the colors have gone from like dark blue to light blue. That means they've gotten easier. You know, so here, if I wanted to kill this piglet like a jerk, like you can group up with people in this game. But that doesn't seem to be what this guy was doing. So I collected a fresh boar meat. There's a black-walled spy. Another piglet. So yeah, let's join up for a little bit. Now grouped. I will say, if you group up, these things go a lot faster. Now, his... bring down the Fellowship mini panel. It used to be that when you played this game, you had to... you had to group up at certain points. Let's see. Got the boar meat. Let's keep heading to... So I'm looking in the, I was looking in the dialogue over there just to see if there was something else that, okay, so here we are at Cal Sprigley's farm.
A stranger, eh? You're the best thing that's happened to us all day. Our best hope is to get help from Combe, our neighbors.
Okay, go to
We'll knock out
Combe to
Archet's
plead for
vault
aid
and
against the
brigands.
Blackwalled threats. Can we go to Combe? All right.
Could I speak with you a moment?
So here we go. My dad and his farmhands gave chase to brigands, and now they're not back yet, so could you find them? You know, here you can buy, sell. The important thing is repair. Things get beat up. I tend to, you know, I should probably... I wish this could be bigger. Equipment, because sometimes I have trouble seeing what I'm doing. Let's see, what do we got here? 1 armor. 10 armor, so I gotta switch out better shoes. Again, I barely pay attention. Okay, so let's okay, there's a lot going on to the northeast, so let's head that way. So Bronwy's Folly. Okay, we don't need piglets, but we do need to find this farmhand. He's been injured, maybe? Already in use. Oh, we're searching. Okay. Thornton Woodley's body has been murdered by the Blackwalds. Okay, that's tragic. Oof. This doesn't look good. Again, examining the lifeless body. Also murdered by the Blackwalds. Here's the bilberry bushes. We need to collect some of those. The reality in this game is that, especially early on, any class can solo basically the whole game. I mean, in theory, everybody can solo the whole game regardless. Every class is fine. It's just how you want to play it. Here's the blueberries. Alright. And finally, the final body, Walt Wheatley. Also murdered by the Blackwalds. Alright. So we've got 2 of the quests done. We could use... I don't want to go... see, this is why... See, I'm doing like -2, but when I drop the boot, I do -13. So that's, you know, it's some bonus damage there. You know, even the Brigand Lieutenant, one of the higher, you know... he's back fast. So the main role, if you're worried about this kind of stuff, is, I mean, champions can do some damage, but my goal is to, if I had the full gambit options going on, would be to draw aggro, take the brunt of the damage, let somebody else really whittle down the opponent's morale, and then and then keep myself alive while holding aggro, right? I will say, as much as I was like, oh, I don't really want to agree. This game, at least in the heyday, had a really great community. I'm sure all the games have some really great... I have no idea. What do I know, right? So now I've got the goad gambit, so that way I can... If I do 2 screams in a row, you'll see I got now goad, which in theory attracts attention. I've got persevere, which heals. So I'm starting to get the... So that's sort of what you do. You goad and then you persevere. Goad, persevere. And that's, a good way to work in... And that's kind of what makes this class pretty durable. Because you can sort of do bonus damage, and then you can do a bunch of healing spells, and next thing you know, you can just sort of... I've had fights where I'm like, I'm not going to make it through this, and then you somehow figure it out. You pull all your skills out of the bag of tricks, and you're like, oh, I haven't used this one in a while. But you realize suddenly it's got like a lot of purpose in this one thing. It keeps you alive for just that little bit longer, and you're like, man, I can't believe I got through that. So that's always fun. So you can see that little, I think that little mask over my head is taunting him. I just have... So I should say, yeah, a really great community in this game, in my experience. I was in a guild for a little while, because... And I haven't gotten to it yet. Like, the story of this game is broken up into what are called book quests. There's a ton of book quests. But to proceed past certain books, in the old days, you had to group up. You had to get together a fellowship of, like, a certain number of people. And if you didn't, you were not able to progress through the story. They've since changed that, so, like I said, anybody can solo the whole thing. And the way they do that is they basically make you a Superman. That was the leader. So again, like, there's no point to any of this, because we can just run through the whole thing, killing everybody. I don't know. But what I want to do is I want to get back to questing, because I want to get... Because questing is really the fast way to level up. And, we're not accomplishing anything by just clearing out that thing over and over and over. Let's see. Where do we want to go? I need to go back to town. I want to pick up... Why am I not... There we go. I want to get a couple more blueberries. So this is what I feel badly about. Like, I don't know what he's... I just want to do the quests and progress the story as fast as possible so I can start to show you some of the things that this game does so well. And I'm probably not being a good Fellowship partner, but I used to play, I mentioned there was a good friend of mine on the Discord that maybe I think is the one that got me into this game. And he, what's going on here? And he and I have grouped up a couple times, and it was a blast, I will say. What's to my north here? It's telling me there's something specific to my quest to the north here. And I don't know what it is. Is it just another bush? That'd be kind of cool if they actually pinpoint where the bushes are. Okay, so we've got 3 of those. One more bush. And I think like the ones I collect, if you're in a fellowship, like if I collect one and he collects it, or they collect it, you complete the quest. I think we both get credit for it. Go to Combe to plead to aid. So now, return to Will Wheatley with the tragic news. That's up here. And Sprigley Farm. So let's go to Sprigley Farm really quickly. The game, you can see in the minimap, it really just sort of points you exactly in the direction you need to go, whichever one's closest. And I appreciate that because, again, I'm not here for the intricate gameplay. But as you can see, like, you look around and maybe the graphics aren't, PlayStation 5 level, but, you've got the ruins. It's very evocative of, how I would picture Lord of the Rings. It came after the movies, and it tried not to borrow too much, but it's hard not to. Honed spear. Can I equip that? Here we go, honed spear. So there we go. Let's see if we can head to Link Lost. That's fine. I wasn't being a great partner for leveling up. But yeah, again, I feel badly because, again, the community, in my experience in this game, has always been great. But so, this game is trying for like sort of like a more realistic. World of Warcraft goes for like a cartoony look. We're trying to get to Combe for help, but we can't. The gate is blocked. Archet is now on its own. So, there's no help to be had. There is definitely something going on with the Black Wolves. So maybe there are people out there who have played like 12,000 hours of World of Warcraft, and they can be like, no, the story is really actually quite this or that. I know Final Fantasy XIV is, I believe, very much known for its story, so... But I'd like to think that maybe this game paved the way a little bit for all of those.
This cannot be. I must write to Brackenbrook at once.
Okay, so the captain must be informed of what we're starting to piece together. Like, yeah, no, this is not good. So, trying to figure out why there's that big yellow arrow in the bottom left corner. There's like here, you get like your alerts. You get like titles. You get things for different, for different achievements, for being around for a long time, for buying certain, expansion packs. So I need to specialize. I just don't know how. So let's click spec 1. Okay, that's what we need to do. Okay, we need to click spec 1. And now you see you got like a skill tree going on. And this is the thing, I'm just like, oh my god, this is a lot to think about, you know. War cry increases whatever. Determination, that's going to be like the healing line. Recklessness is damage. This is probably better for group play. So let's take a minute really quickly just to spend this point just before I go on. So this is going to do bonus, and you can pick and choose from both. You don't have to like only do one or only do the other. I'll be honest with you, a lot of the time I just go with healing because that's going to keep me alive. I don't know if that makes any sense. So let's see what we got going on down here. We've got restorative shield work. Briefly improve your defenses, restoring morale each second. If an enemy attack hits you, this effects last 10 seconds. So we're starting to get some stuff that is outside of the gambit. Let's see, warning shot, a powerful toss, which aggravates your target, forcing them to attack you. Usually I put that... What's a quick thrust? Yeah, that's part of the... Usually I put that, say there, so it's a quick opening. What's this? Ambush. Right, so when given... Okay, that makes sense, right? So I'm going to put that there, put that there. So when I have time, yeah, you can launch a strong opening volley. Okay. No, I don't need a valid target. I'm not doing anything. So let's head back into town, hand in some of these quests. So you see you're getting sort of like... Why should we trust a stranger over a captain? He's always led us, etc., etc. See if I've got anything to train.
How can I be of service?
Not yet. I remember going to the trainers a lot more when this game first came out. I don't know if they've sort of streamlined that part out of it. I couldn't say. As Brackenbrook, I've been a fool. Oh, what have I done? Let's get some leather trousers, baby.
You cannot fathom just how wrong I have been.
My son John is a worthy hunter, but he has not set foot in this town for over 3 years. He will never forgive me for the things I said to him. Oh, what a fool I've been. I've told him he was not welcome in Archet until he stopped behaving like a jealous child. Now he and his hunters are our only hope. But what can I do? He does not deserve to be dragged deeper into my folly. Nay, Archet must withstand this storm without help. Brackenbrook is hopeless. You should ask Strider what to do. So you can see, like, not good. And pride is going to keep him from asking for help.
You have done well.
Said, do not despair, Black Lodge. You've done well. You must appeal to the sun anyway. You know, he realizes pride is not the important thing. So now we're just, you know, getting like little side quests of collect. And it's usually always like collect crap. So now we're going to give the tea to Amdir to help him feel better.
I thank you, but I have not the stomach to drink this now.
Okay, so he's going to pretend to drink it. But he's not doing well.
Did my tea perk him up? I knew it would.
That's not what he needs. He needs the King's Foil, which I thought I had. What does this do? +1 might, why not? I think we can equip a couple of rings here. What's this one? +1 vitality, that's extra morale. Fried mushrooms can help you out. Anyway. So we're going to look here, and now we need to go to the hunting lodge. Also, just so you know, like, I think the Mad Badger Inn. Can we go inside here? Yeah, you can go inside buildings, and they create sort of, like, again, because it's going for, like, a realistic feel, even if the graphics are not, you know, 4K, whatever, I feel like it captures the atmosphere, the music, the vibe. It all sort of comes together to create a sort of very grounded take on a fantasy world on Middle-earth. So now we need to go to the hunting lodge, which is just going to be over to the east. I know at level 5 you used to be able to get a mount. I just didn't know if you could get it yet. Requirement's not met yet. That's what I figured. It used to be you couldn't get a mount until like level 35, and it cost a butt ton of money. And it was a real accomplishment. Like I remember, you know, again, my friend that I was mentioning on the Discord, I remember when we got our first mounts around the same time. You had to get 5 gold, which was a ton of money at the time. And you had to hit level 35, which took a long time because the leveling used to be much slower. And you can still get that sort of pace of leveling if you pay and you join I forget, there's certain kind of servers. It's like a classic server. And it brings the leveling down to what it used to be. So here we are. Going to talk to John Brackenbrook. So you can see we're sort of doing... Okay, so here you can see part of, like, even though I've got a lifetime VIP, not everything is here. This quest must be unlocked once for your account and can be purchased from the LOTRO store. Completing the quest, A Little Extra Never Hurts, Part 1, is not required to proceed, but will provide enough LOTRO points to cover the purchase. A Little Extra Never Hurts, Part 1 can only be completed once per account. So what do you get for this? You get a trait, which is just... gives you the riding characteristic. Oh, you're able to ride mounts. Okay, so... okay, so this is... Okay, so we want to be able to ride mounts, obviously. So let's see how this works. So now you're going to see the store is going to come up. And it costs 10 LOTRO points. And you can get LOTRO points by grinding stuff in game, etc., etc. It's not necessarily hard to do. But that's interesting. I don't recall ever having to do that before. So they've sort of locked mounts behind. Now, as you can see, I have 33,000 LOTRO points. Part of that is because as a VIP, you, I think you get a little bit. So maybe that's new. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that, so we just sort of click through. Okay, you come from the town. I've been watching from the bounds. The skies have turned dark. So he's willing to listen.
Calder Cobb has shown his true colors at last.
He sort of suspected Calder Cobb, I guess. So the answer to the question is yes, I will come to Archet's aid. I and my fellows. I am a hunter and a skilled warrior, trained by my father and captain. And I would rather die than sit idly by while the foul brigands crash upon decent peoples. So you got a whole thing starting to go. Like you're building up your little bit of an army. We've got some furs. These are things we can just sell. Shoulder pads, I'll equip those. A little extra steed. So now, I think that will call your horse, but the question is, do I have the ability to call, because I have these other accounts, because I'm a VIP, do I get this other steed? So let's take a look. Again, like I was saying, it used to be like level 35, so that's... Are you sure you want to add this mount to your skills panel? Doing so will remove... Sure, that's fine. So now I'm probably going to have some, like, baller warhorse. You get an idea of... you know, it's just like, okay. I'm level 3, but I'm just rolling in this thing. So yeah, you know... You start moving a lot fast. And honestly, this is a real nice quality of life because there's so much back and forth to this game that being able to go just that little bit faster is a huge help. It also, you know, just, again, like, maybe if you play now, like, I've been playing this since the beginning, so, like, this is how it's always looked, and I've always thought it looked great. But, defeat the brigands to thin their ranks. Okay, sorry, I'm going to the wrong place. So what we want to do is we want to go... Oh, okay, just general out in the wilderness. Defeat the brigands. Yeah, to me, like, this... You know, this looks good. It really captures Middle-earth in my mind. It's... I don't know. Calder Cobb, you son of a bitch. I'm coming for you later. But, you know, earlier I was mentioning, like, the graphics overhaul, blah, blah, blah. It's really difficult because this game... I used to have a 4K monitor. I probably mentioned that at some point because I, you know, blather. Let me see if I can set up an ambush opening strike. It didn't do a ton of damage, but it does stun him. So I can get a couple things going. It's unplayable in my mind at 4K. The icons don't scale up. The whole interface doesn't scale up properly. So it was just, it was frustrating, I will say. So it really needed something, and when I heard they were sort of scrapping that, I was, one, disappointed, but two, more, again, not to read into things a ton, but I was like, what does that mean? Like, and maybe it's just a question of, like, I don't know the back end of this game, and it would be a nightmare to do the work. You know, maybe it's built in such a way that, you know, whatever they needed to do would be a big task. I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that it was disappointing. They were supposed to overhaul the graphics to make, you know, I don't know how much improvement would happen, but make it a little better. You know, for the people that get turned off by what they see here. Let's see if I can do this again. Alt-1. Set up an ambush. And then immediately you swoop in. Get some damage going. See what happens if I just control one at the other spear attack. Not a ton of damage there, but at least you get something going, I guess. Do a little boot for 28 points of damage now, so it's starting to go way up. So there we go, we did that. Get on the horse, and let's... Oh wait, intro to the shadow. So supposedly I'm supposed to go back in... And again, as the burglar class, I could go into stealth mode. It really, I gotta tell you, it felt good sneaking into everywhere and doing what I needed to do. Can I just ambush this guy from here? I guess so. Devastated, you saw, as a type of, like, when you get a little bonus damage. I couldn't, again, tell you what any of it means, because I don't get into the weeds of the mechanics because I'm not an MMO player, so... what am I supposed to be doing here? Oh, the plans. Okay. So as you can see, I've got some... Oops. Let's steal the plans and bring him back. Oh! They're going to attack tonight with the help of Angmar. So as you can see, there is definitely some bigger stuff going on. And if you remember, it said like the tutorial I could take was the Shadows of Angmar. And that's because... Now, it seems to have gotten darker. Usually... Okay. I was going to say, usually there's no like day-night cycle. It's usually depending on where you are. But You know, the tutorial for this was called Shadows of Angmar, right? And that's because the original game, it was called Lord of the Rings Online, Shadows of Angmar. It's the first 50 levels. And it, overall, I find it to be a fantastic game. And almost like, if it had been, I mean, there's no way it could have stayed this way, but had it been self-contained in those first 50 levels and they just never did more, I personally would have been happy, but I know a lot of people would not have been. But it was such a nicely done, tightly put together MMO experience.
Good work, my friend.
That I think starts to get away from itself once you started putting in the expansions. The first one was Moria.
Good work, my friend. I believe there is hope for us yet. We only need a strategy.
All right. So we need to talk to Alti Spiderbane. I think they were outside. Now you get all these side quests. I don't know what this is. Black Lodge. Listen to my words.
I am Galadriel, the Lady of the Golden Wood. Do not be afraid, my friend. Your people are short-lived, but the fate of Middle-earth is yours to command. I will not long disturb your sleep. I can visit you in dreams for only a short time. I have looked into my mirror and seen much that worries me. Let me show you.
This is all new. I've never seen this before. As much as I talk about this game not being fan fiction, and now Galadriel's sliding into our DMs. I've seen lighted windows in the evil city of Carn Dûm. The dread land of Angmar stirs. Shadows once stretched forth from Angmar to threaten Middle-earth. I fear they will again. My mirror shows me much else I do not understand. Getting a glimpse into Moria, which is very impressive as a technical achievement, but questing in it got tiresome. Some of this may come to pass or none of it. That is the nature of my mirror's power. Over to Rohan. This is all brand new, and it's all of Middle-earth is endangered by the return of Sauron. So I don't know what to make of this. Again, I've never seen this before. Is this too much, or is this the kind of thing you need? We need strength, wisdom, and courage if we are to oppose him. Or is this the thing you need to try and get players in? Like, hey, this is Middle-earth, baby. Men, elves, dwarves, hobbits, all free folk must stand together. And so they put this stuff there just so you're like, oh yeah, the connection to the books and the movies, I recognize that. maybe that drums up interest. For me, I always appreciated that they really created this narrative that went around the main story in a nice way.
You are near to wakefulness. The last tendrils of sleep will soon release you. You ask why I wanted to show you this? It is for one reason. I saw you in my mirror, not once or twice, but often. Whether you desire it or not, your fate is tied to that of Middle-earth. Do not forget my words when you awaken. The free peoples of Middle-earth will have need of you. You must not fail them.
Oh, my private encounter with Galadriel. Go on. There we go. I've never had dreams like that. Okay. So we still need to talk to the folks outside. Alti Spiderbane.
Greetings,
Defeat the spiders on the Old East Path. See if the wall is still intact. How do we get to the East Path? Okay. So, again, it's like kill 4 spiders, come back. But, you know, if you actually read the narrative, you know, it's like, hey, there's a way they might be able to sneak into town. But the path is wrought with spiders. You know, get through the spiders, that's the kill 4. More importantly, check to see what's going on with this path. Is it a viable ambush? So usually what you could do is you could start by, you know, I open my attack sequence with a healing buff. That way I go into the fight and you know, I've already got some healing going on, so, and then I focus on damage output. I mean, I don't think I'm getting any. You know what? Because I'm not doing the healing right. I think it's oops. Just do a bunch of range damage, you know, chip away a little bit. Let me try 3-2. Nope, I still got the boot fired up on my gambit. That doesn't do anything. What about 2-1? Nope, it's dead. Okay. Maybe it's a shield spear. Let's try 2-1 persevere. That's what it is. Yeah, so you get that going, and then most of the time it can keep up with a lot of the damage you take during a normal fight, and you barely get scratched. And that's part of the reason why I love the Warden, you know. Gives you a lot of control over the moment-to-moment gameplay. Because, honestly, if you realize, you know, the moment-to-moment gameplay in an MMO is not that interesting. So, whatever you can do to spice that up is welcome, and I feel like the Warden does that. So here we go, we're checking this out. Let's see what the dead Blackwalled Scout has to say. This brigand scout met his doom at the dead end on the Old East Path. So they're definitely trying to do something here, right? Now, I think in the old days, these things would all just pounce. They're not attacking me, which is, you know, that's fine. Is there anything in here? No. You know, just sort of let you get on your way and do what you're going to do. I guess, technically speaking, I could get back on my horse. Not that it's that far to go, but here we are. Who are we supposed to talk to? Let's see what John Brackenbrook has to say about this development.
Will surely work in our favor.
Okay, good. So it sounds like they were not successful in what they were trying to do. Quickly, Calder Cobb is making his move against Archet, and wicked men of Angmar are leading him in the Blackwall's strength, or lending him. We must go to the town's defense at once. You've just received the final quest in this introduction quest series. If you have any other quests underway, I don't think we do. Now's the time to do it. Let's go for it.
John Brackenbrook and his hunters have reached the outskirts of Archet to find it already ablaze. A desperate struggle to save their village was about to begin. Hopefully, you have arrived in time.
We have no time to lose. We must save Ned.
Okay, there we go. Oop. So a defensive strike, I think, probably ups our defensive bonus. Jailer Ned. Amdir's close by. He's escaped the slaughter at the Badger. You have to help him defend the Badger. These black wolves want the Hobbit and the Captain. I saw something in the flames. Go after them. You must save them. All right.
Archet must still be saved.
Calder Cobb's and Otto's treachery were just the beginning, so Otto was in on it too, huh? We must find a way to the Mad Badger Inn. Peg has left us a way into the marketplace. Perhaps there's a way through there. Follow me! Oh no.
There are more up ahead.
Why am I not? So I'm going to try and maybe draw some aggro. Again, not that it's that important, but in theory the idea is that way I would keep everybody off of Brackenbrook. And you can sort of see the little red arrows above their head. That means, hey, he's on you. The worst is yet to come.
We must find my father before it's too late.
So the marketplace is safe, but we need to still find his father. Let's secure the crafters area. Come. Alti Spiderbane's on the case. That's good. Could use the help. Those black-hearted fiends have laid waste to our town. Look, it's Aldi ahead.
All must not be lost. Well met, friend. Is the crafting hall safe?
A group of black walls entered that building yonder not long ago, John. Together, surely we can take them. Well then, let's not tarry. So you can see the arrows just popped above their heads. That's because I goaded them. So now they're all on me. And I need to tank the damage and let everybody else figure it out.
Although the Mad Badger burns, I still hold out hope.
But the game's so easy you don't actually need to do any of that. If you just wanted to experience the story, you could just breeze through. You have fared well, my friend, but all might be lost nonetheless. We protected the market square and the crafters area. Already the Mad Badger burns. Perhaps my father is still alive, but I hold little hope. Follow Atli and me. We must defend what is left of this town. We're almost there, my friend. My father will still be alive. I know it. All right, he's holding...
Father, I knew you would survive.
I'm alive, son, but I grow weary from the fight. Does Archet fall now? I have been a fool. This is not the time for blame. We must only look to defending those who count on us for safety. I agree. I will guard the hobbits and the injured man. Can you keep the attackers at bay? They approach. Defend us. So again, I'm going to try a goad to get everybody's attention on me. There we go. Oh, it's behind me. Okay. Just leveled. Ding, ding, ding. Probably what I should do is let me... The Fellowship mini panel is there, but what's this guy? Escort vitals. Let's get them in place so you can see them. So as you can see, you know, they're doing just fine. It's not that hard. So here we go. You can see I'm cowering. My morale's probably going to start to drop. Caldor Cobb is in league with Kargul. All I know is that you betrayed your home and your peoples. You should be ashamed. Caldor Cobb. Enough talk. Amdir is now a servant of Mordor. Come, Dunedain. So again, he's been stabbed, and now he's under their control. So we have not saved him. Strider has not been able to save him. Caldor Cobb, finish what you came to do. Gladly, I will now have the power in Archet. And he now murders Captain Brackenbrook. And it's on. Let's get some goading going.
What misery has befallen us? My
This-
father was right to trust no one.
This is a sad day indeed. Archet is burned, my father is dead, and the ranger was taken by evil men, if men they can be called. Now all we can do is wait for the flames to die down. Then, with luck, we may begin to rebuild our poor town. What tragedy has befallen us this night, but we defeated the Blackwalled Menace. I think it will be long ere they grow so bold again, with or without the help of the evil masters from Angmar.
With the Black Wolves' attack foiled, the people of Archet have begun to rebuild. Yet not all hurts are so easily mended. The fate of the Ranger Amdir remains uncertain and may have dire consequences for Breeland. But hope remains that he may yet be saved.
So there you go. That is the intro tutorial area to the Lord of the Rings Online Men's Quest. I know I'm in my most stereotypical fashion. I'm playing a human fighter. I do that proudly. But as you can see now, we're out of that area. The town of Archet has been destroyed. Alti Spiderbane sits here. You've got... Basically now you're not in an instanced intro world anymore. You are in the full world. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the Bree land. This is what I was trying to say, like, you know, this game does such an amazing job of capturing Middle Earth that for me, like, I don't mind the, what you might call, like, lame MMO mechanics. Let's pull back out. Area door. I think we can pull out one more time. Middle Earth. All of these places are now in the game. This was not here when the game first released. It used to just be, like I said, Angmar. It used to just be this. And it was honestly not even. It was not even. I don't think some of this stuff was here. I think it was just a lot of this, and it was fantastic. This is the elf area where you start as an elf. If you start as a Thorin's Hall is where you do your dwarf starting levels. Hobbiton, again, is often considered the best realized. And so I feel like, you know, if you want to play Hobbit, you should absolutely experience it. The quests, the area, it's all really well done. But now so here's John Brackenbrook. There's much to be done if we were to rebuild the town. Honestly, like, you know, you can take all the side quests and you'll level pretty quickly. If you just do the main story quests, I found that
Greetings.
it was mostly enough. The loss of my father is a painful one, but my pain is no greater than any other here in Archet. The people of Archet regard you as a hero, and I agree with them. Without your quick thinking, we would have lost more lives. But you were the one who faced down the evil men and drove them and the many black wolves away. It's good to know, etc., etc. So let's... There we go. You just received the milestone skill. So what you can do is you can set somewhere as a milestone. You can always teleport back to it. The Warden has a skill called Muster where he can be called around Middle-earth, and that's another sort of fast travel.
Would you do something for me?
So now he wants us to bury the dead. Again, you know, it's just a... You could argue it's just a fetch quest, but I find it's very thematic. Seek out those poor men and grant them the honor and death. Dirk Mudbrick fell at the sheep farm. Nate Whisperwood died defending the Hunter's Lodge, and Cal Sprigley's farmhand, Will Wheatley, perished in a battle just west of Bronway's Folly.
What do you need?
Okay, and so then you can also get these kind of quests like Disease Among the Boars, which is going to be like...
Would you do something for me?
Again, it's just a go kill 6 of X and, you know, whatever. But if you read... You know, we've been sort of poisoned by Angmar, right? And so now, like, what's always been good about, like, Middle-earth is that the way it blends, like, nature, the health of the world with the health of good and evil, the stakes of good and evil. And so, you know, the boars are taking on disease, which means, like, the evil's creeping, you know, further out of Angmar, and it's now affecting even this kind of area. We're gonna, you know, threat from spiders. Go talk to, you know, we're going there anyway. So what you can end up doing is you can end up just grabbing quests and banging out 5 at a time. But as I said, if you just stick to the main story, which is labeled as like the prologue, you'll be fine. Oh, I see. Okay, this is a new thing. You can set the difficulty of the area, and that will up the amount of XP you get. So if you want to have a little more control over your leveling, if you want to slow it down, if you know, whatever it might be, you can do that. So I think here's our first fallen comrade. Again, it's just, you know, it's the spirit of the quest is really evocative, narratively important, etc., etc. Here's one of the diseased Bristlehide. Now you can see they're yellow, which means that we're level 7, they are level 8 if you look up here. It just means they're a little bit more of a challenge, but honestly, it's not going to be that much of a challenge. I think earlier I was talking about classic servers. They're called legacy servers, and there's one called Treebeard. I think that's the only one still left. There used to be a couple. And it's got slower progression, more in line with what it used to be when the game first released. And what they did was at first they took the game all the way back to, you can see now it's 7.7, that's why the lettering is white. Took it all the way back to how the game first launched. So only the first 50 levels were here. And then what they were going to do is they were going to sort of release the expansions at sort of the same pace as the expansions released at launch. So it's sort of like going back to like how, like, hey, you remember how the game used to be in 2007? Well, for big fans of it, let's take you there one more time. Functionally, I think it's just like slower leveling. Makes you sort of have to do more of the questing. It makes you have to sort of engage with more of the side quests and content, which, you know, I will say, a lot of the quests are, oh, the world is sick, you know, Middle Earth is under the spell of evil. Go kill all of the wildlife. Kill the bears, kill the wolves, kill the piglets, kill... It's just like... just an extinction level event in-game, but that's the mechanics. I mean, you could argue, like, yeah, you want to keep the diseased ones, you know, you want to thin the herd and keep the sick away from the healthy, blah, 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 but the way it, you know, materializes just is, like, kill it all, fire everything. What am I doing? One more. Looks like it keeps your gambit started for a little bit. I don't know if that fades eventually, but yeah, it looks like you can get half a gambit going. So that could be something, if you know you're going to be tackling a lot, you can, like, hey, I want to finish off, you know, with a 3-3-2, and then I'm halfway to building that opening attack next time. So again, it's like a lot of moment-to-moment decisions that could make the game interesting instead of just like, oh, launch this attack, launch that attack. The initial classes, especially the Guardian, I like playing the Guardian, but it's definitely like it's a slow grind. It's interesting and, like, you know, you're never going to do a ton of damage, but it's interesting to mitigate, you know, the damage coming in. But it's I feel like you get some of that from the Warden, and the Warden does more damage. Threat from spiders. Where's that? That's up there. Okay, disease. Burying the dead. Did we bury all the dead? I guess we have to go to the hunting lodge now. Anyway. Oh yeah, now things are going to start coming after you. Okay. Yeah, if they do enough damage that they take down Starkhorn, you got the damage bar right here. You get knocked off your horse, then you got to fight. I guess you'll keep running, but... Let's over to the hunting lodge. I think these things means it's like a... Oh, right. So you can spend mithril coins. Again, it's like one of these, like, pay for quality of life things. If you spend money in the LOTRO store, you can buy these mithril coins. If you buy these mithril coins... Well, let me put it... If you spend money, you get points. If you spend points, you can buy these mithril coins. The mithril coins allow you to just fast travel to hand-in quests. So again, like, they're willing to take your money to just go boom, boom, boom. Which, why not, right? I don't begrudge them. You know, they don't charge for the game. There's a ton of content here that's free. They often have, like, nice sales around the holidays that let you basically get all the quest packs, which are sort of the, you know, the areas in the game. I don't think it's a huge investment to get a lot of money's worth out of this game. I think I don't need to be in here. Here we are in the hunting lodge, but I think where I need to be is outside. Am I crazy? Did I not have to? Okay. Oh, I had to bury the dead, right. Okay. So I think everything now is back in Archet, so... So again, we're in the prologue. That's going to be the main story, talking to John Brackenbrook. The main story is broken into books. I think Angmar can take you to like book 13, book 14, book 12, some variety like that. And it's actually a pretty interesting story overall. And again, while the mechanics never will blow you away, as the clicks and buttons you press just to check out the story, I find that it's worth it. It does a really good job, in my mind, of telling a Middle-earth story. And the efforts of the art design, everything about the world just, all comes together to really be a good, like a Middle-earth. Like, because if the world felt like Middle-earth, but the story felt like Marvel, then, something would be completely off. But that's not the case. We're going to take, let's see, the buckler or the javelin. The javelin, yeah, I'd rather... I'm going to take the Thistlewood buckler. Finish now. Talk to Brackenbrook.
What can I do for you?
Now, before you leave, there's something I must tell you. A queer man came through Archet while you were away, and I believe he was looking for you. The man who came through the village, he reminded me of Strider in his behavior, and said he was looking for the hero of Archet. I can only assume that he spoke of you. He said the matter was most urgent, and that if I saw you, I was to direct you to the Comb and Wattle Inn, where he would be waiting for you. The Comb and Wattle Inn is in the center of Combe to the south. He seemed most grim to me. I would travel to Combe immediately and speak with the innkeeper, Lisbeth Honeymead. She should know where to find this man. Let's accept. I feel like there's another... Talk to Cal Sprigley and Archet. Okay.
Greetings.
So, you don't... okay, let's continue. These are just like fetch quests, right? Like, these are going to probably be... Oh, down by Sprigley's farm? Okay. But again, like I was saying, if you stick to the main quest, you will level up plenty. You will still get your share of...
What can I do for you?
Busy work, but at least it will be more narratively satisfying, I guess is one way to put it. So since we're going down there anyway, I'll stop by the farm, then we'll head over to Combe. We'll start to enter the world of Middle-earth in a larger way. So a lot of times in games, I'd be like, oh my god. Like in Outward, when the RPG I'm co-oping with my brother, we'd get to these parts, I'm just like, okay, this is going to take forever. Why don't they have fast travel? I actually never minded the travel in, and I know MMOs have a lot of that kind of gameplay where it's just ferrying back and forth to fill the time as if that, is actual gameplay. I never minded in this game just because I enjoyed... Nope. Are we doing this? Okay. I enjoyed being in the world so much. And seeing the views. I mean, like right now it's like, oh, this looks, what am I exactly seeing here? But when you start seeing like the places you recognize, it's... and how well they're realized, it's really something. And you feel like... Which I don't know if this is true of many MMOs. Like, you feel like you earn it, right? Like, when you're running around Angmar, like, you feel like you have fought and warred across this section of Middle-earth to gain, the durability and the power to survive there. And furthermore... You've seen... It's a big seller. You've seen, the destruction in Middle-earth. So, like, the areas around here, they're mostly green, right? They're mostly, there's bad things going on. There's the buckwalls, there's spiders. We just had 2 ring wraiths, that's the name I'm trying to think of, prancing around the area looking for Frodo. But the area is still mostly green, and you could see it being easy to, like, for Captain Bruckenbald to be like, I'm not getting into this. Like, I don't see it. Some healing going just because I've taken a little bit of damage. And that'll top me off while I grind out these fights. I don't even know what I'm doing in here, to be honest with you. I have to collect something. But I guess I should make sure it's actually in here. So let's see. I think I don't need to be in here yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bail. Can I just, gotta be careful. You don't want to, I think I'm going deeper. And end up getting a whole group of people after me here, which might kill me, to be honest with you. You know what? Let's see how I can do here. So let's, again, I'm going to pop that. I need to start healing. And I'm going to keep healing. And even though I'm not doing as much damage, you can see my health bar is mostly staying intact. And so now it's sort of 1-on-1, or maybe 3-on-1. I don't know how many people are after me here. There was 3-on-1, so it was a total of maybe 4 or 5-on-1. But yeah, I popped restorative shield work, which gives me better defense. So maybe I wasn't getting hit as much, so that was helping with mitigating damage. And then popped a couple of heals. I'm going to finish this one off with a heal, hopefully. And that way I'm... There we go. And there you go. So, that's how you sort of figure out how to be durable. Like, if I were a hunter, I might have killed those things quicker, but I definitely would have been a lot closer to dying. I've played a hunter a few times and I've never gotten very far because I always get my ass kicked. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I went down the wrong path. Okay. So yeah, let's grab a seed bag. Let's just grab the things we need to grab. Because there's no point. Like, some quest is going to take you down there at some point. There's no point in exploring for its own sake. In my mind. Like I would in Dragon's Dogma or Elden Ring. Okay, we collected the bow. But really what we want to do is we want to get out. Whoops, nope, don't want to do that. We want to do that. Let's head to Combe. I'm sure at some point we're going to be heading back to Archet, hopefully. So here we are, we'll make our way to Combe. There's the inn. Constable Underhill, the hobbits are afoot, and So now we've got our warden trainer here, which I don't know if there's anything to actually train.
How can I be of service?
I know in a lot of games I at some point talk about the music. I enjoy the music in this one as well. Did I not go to the right place? Talk to Elizabeth Honeymead. There were a bunch of trainers there, but I didn't see. Again, you know, the ambience, the atmosphere, the, you know, warm hearth, taking the chill off. Just, again, does such a good job in my mind.
Hello there.
Creating the world of Middle-earth. Oh my, look here, a real life hero. It's not often we get such respectable folk through here. Oh my, how my tongue runs on. Toradan told me to send you upstairs to his room as soon as you arrived. The stairs are across the room there. And Toradan's the door at the end of the hall. He said you shouldn't delay none.
Greetings.
The hero of Archet, I suppose. I'm pleased to finally meet you, and I'm sorry for the cryptic summons, but I dare not betray my whereabouts to just anyone. There's much we need to discuss. Will you hear me?
Could I speak with you a moment?
Thank you for your aid, Black Lodge. My kindred and I were driven from the bounds of the Shire by the Nazgul of Mordor. Ringwraiths, Nazgul, that's all the words I was forgetting. They pursued us eastward and slew many of us. It was my goal to join Amdir, but I have heard rumor of his fate in Archet. They say he was stabbed with a Morgul knife and led off by some evil men, the ones who lent the Blackwald's aid. There are a few left now with the power over such wounds, and those that I know of dwell some distance from here. We must find Amdir, and quickly, if we are to save him. He is likely being held by the Blackwalds somewhere in Chetwood. We must find a way to enter their lair and free him, but first we must find them. Speak with Constable Underhill, who's outside. He may be of help. Once you've learned of the Blackwald's lair and believe you can gain entry, return to me. Hurry before it's too late. Now, so that's this is the main story quest. We're continuing to pursue the fate of Amdir, who was stabbed in our prologue. And that's kind of the cool thing. Like, what happened in that intro mission is going to be something that carries through a lot of the Angmar questline. And the other cool thing about this is, like, you know, it's just like, oh, the Blackwolds. Like, this is sort of, you know, I held up the box to Middle-earth earlier in the role-playing game. If you grab, I'm just going to grab stuff all over the place. If you grab the Bree supplement, you know, a lot of the story in Bree is dealing with, like, brigands and stuff on the outskirts of the town and stuff like that. So this game, again, like, it's capturing what I found in... Because, again, most of my Middle-earth exposure is the game, not the books.
Greetings.
So the reason why we want to talk to this person unlocks the stable. Stabling is, it's not necessarily... It can be fast travel, but it can be just autopilot travel, right? So you can go to all these different places. It costs money to do so, or mithril coins. I guess I have 299, so I can fast travel around a lot. I can go to Ered Luin, Thorin's Gate. These are the different starting areas. Michael Delving. So if I wanted to pick up the starting quest stories, you know, of how the other races get to the story of Angmar, their prologues, I could sort of do that. I would probably miss the very opening movies and stuff like that. But if you wanted to, say, play a human warden, but experience the story through the Hobbit storyline, you could sort of figure that out. Or you could just go to Bree, which is not that far. But let's talk to... I thought I saw him... Constable Sageford. Oh, there he is up there. Underhill.
lovely day, isn't it?
Tordan sent you, did he? It's good to have a hero of the Archet on our side. The Hobbit lowers his voice. There's still a Blackwalled agent in town. We think he's trying to rebuild the band from among the local ruffians and bullies. We need proof, though. A letter of parchment would do, as if it came from the agent himself. Or parchment, sorry. Many of the brigands hole up in Chetwood. Follow the road east until you come to the guardhouse, where Constable Wren is stationed. From there, head north and look for the brigands' watchfires scattered through the woods. Search their packs for the signs of their summons. Let me know right away if you find anything. We need to know what they're up to. I really wish, I wish I knew the story of, like, World of Warcraft better, so I could say, like, yeah, no, I mean, you know, like, honestly, this is not that impressive, all things considered. But just what I remember of World of Warcraft, maybe it's just because I never clicked with it, because I'm not a super duper fantasy guy, so I don't know. But maybe this story is not that. But to me, this is like really great storytelling, which sets it apart from MMORPGs, at least at the time, and why I think it's still worth playing today. It's a really great Middle Earth role playing game, and it's kind of the only one we have. So let's see what we are tasked with doing. So we're here in Combe. You can sort of, the Chetwood here has some stuff going on. We have a quest to turn in here if we wanted. Bree is below us. The real trick with this is you sort of have to always move this around to the North Downs. The North Downs, you get, and then you can get to Angmar from there. It's just, it's so good. All right. How much coin do I have? I could be selling all this stuff, and I'm not, but got a deed bestowed, a spider slayer, because I've killed a bunch of things, and that gives you Lord of the Rings points, right? So that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, you need to spend 10 LOTRO points, I think, to unlock a mount. You get 5 of them for killing 30 spiders, right? So you can sort of grind enough LOTRO points to get some stuff done. But let's just really quickly see what the mail says. Letter from John Brackenbrook. Greetings. I have written a letter on your behalf. Others in Archet collected what they could to give you and made a nice present of it. Okay, so it's just like an item. Great. Whatever. But yeah, here I'll show you. If you wanted to fast travel, you're going to travel for 80 copper or 1 coin. I'm going to do 80 copper. And you can just see how, so like, Jesus take the wheel. I'm not driving. It just sort of autopilots you to an area. And again, this is something that also I never minded because, you could like check a web page or, sometimes I would just sort of, see the sights, right? So here we are. We're leaving Combe behind. And we're going to head to Bree. There's Staddle. And again, if you know Middle Earth, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I recognize all these places. Because they didn't take any shortcuts in building the world. It's stunning how realized this version of Middle Earth feels. So here we are about to enter Bree, and then we're going to get to eventually the new... and again, like, I don't know if this is exactly how you pictured Bree, but it is a very good implementation of it, for my money. You can see there's always these little stutters and hitches. That's just how the game is. You can have the most powerful machine in the world, and it's going to do those things. And that's part of why people were disappointed that the graphics overhaul, the 4K, all that stuff was supposed to sort of work these things out. And unfortunately, doesn't seem to be the case.
What do you need?
So here you go from, this one. Now you can go to different places. You can go to Breeland, different places within Bree, the southern fields, But you can also go to... We'll jump over to, say, Kilandum, or whatever it is. Now, this one might be swift travel, which means it's going to sort of eventually just teleport you. I believe. Yeah. And I'll show you, this is like the Elven starting area, I believe. Arid Luin. So, you know, again, like, you know, they have their own prologue kind of quest line. I'll unlock this stable master. You know, so it's got, you know, Thorn's Gate is the, you know, the Dwarven, so they're sort of connected. I guess Nog. Not seeing how to get to, Thorn's Gate. Yeah, let's just, you know, show you Thorn's Gate. But you can tell, you know, the architecture nails that sort of elf aesthetic that you kind of get from the movies. Here's Thorn's Gate. So again, all these places are places you can... Now they have 2 stable masters here. I don't know why.
Greetings.
The North Downs, these are... Okay. Gundabad. But yeah, you can see, like, you know, it's just... It's just such a fully realized implementation. So you have different places you can go. This is where we just came from.
Well met.
And of course, the Shire. So we have all these places in place now, accessible. So you got Michael Delving, you got Hobbiton, you got Overhill, Brockenborings, Woodhall, Stock. You know, it's just, yeah, it's just it's the Far Downs. Where's the Far Downs? You know, and a lot of the quests, you know, like the Archet one is very much like, you know, brigands are murdering people and they just burn the whole town to the ground. And here it's like, you know, we have to steal apple pies and, you know, it's very quaint in the exact right way. Because again, like, you know, as I said, like these areas are still green and the books, the whole thing, like the Shire is the furthest removed from the events of the world, so they're able to sort of keep their head down, and you know, that's the whole setup to the story until Frodo's like, I gotta make a move. And you get that feeling. You know, it's so well done. I don't even know where I am. Oh, there we are. So let's go to Hobbiton, hit the Waymeet. You know, it's just, I don't know what I know. Maybe I'm hallucinating, but to me, this is such an amazing realization of the world. And pair that with a really solid story. Even if this is the only proper Middle-earth role-playing game we're destined to get, I'd be happy with it. I'm happy to potentially do the tedious tasks that constitute chunks of this gameplay just because spending time in this world is so enjoyable. The Bounders, I think, are sort of like Shire cops. So here's, you know, okay. So I was saying, like, you know, the graphics are outdated. They were improved when they added some DX something support, which is how you get some of this grass up close. But when you pull back and take in the views, I feel like, for me, that's where the game holds up. I don't know. That's, what do I know? That's just my take. Okay, so we've unlocked some, some of this stuff. We can get back and forth now to certain parts of the Shire. We could start. Where's Stock? Oh, Stock's way out here. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so since I haven't unlocked it, I can't pay, but I would have to use one of my mithril coins to do it. And then they're like, you know what? You've given us money. Go crazy. But normally, yeah, I would not be able to fast travel there unless I had unlocked it, which is why I was going around sort of talking to these stable masters. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I never minded this aspect of it. Like, and that's the same thing like when I would play Elite Dangerous and stuff like that. Just sometimes there's just downtime because you're flying, and it never bothered me. Because it feels thematically accurate, if that makes sense. When it's just time sinks for time sink's sake, but when it feels like it fits with the world, I don't mind. For me, that's really the thing. Like, I'm really into, if this has not been made obvious, even as much as I might enjoy mechanics in Dragon's Dogma, Dark Souls, as much as I might enjoy mechanics in RPGs that we play, the tabletop stuff, what I'm really after is what these things evoke. And it goes back to, when I was saying, like, I want games that make me feel this, right? And I'm willing to accept, taking my hands off the wheel and letting the game drive me to stock. I'm willing to put up with boss battles that I can't beat in Dark Souls and I have to just figure out and grind against, or RPG mechanics that are kind of like, eh. Like, we started, I think I've said in the past, I'm not a huge fan of Old School Essentials, OSE, but we did our first adventure of the sequel to the Old School adventure, Desert of Desolation. I don't know what it's called. And it was a blast. And it's not because I thought the mechanics were so amazing, but it was because the group of people I was with and sort of just that old schoolness RPG vibe it was evoking. And that was enough. Like, and then I'm, you know what, that's good. Bree land. So this is going to give us a little bit of a tour through the Western Breelands to the Shire. So we're going to cut here, and we're going to be following this road. I guess it's going to take us to... Are we going to Buckland? And then, you can sort of like make stops along the way, right? We don't actually need to do it this way. It's just so I can go to the map or do something else while I know I'm not driving off a cliff. So I never quite understood geographically. Like, this is sort of outside the Shire, but it's definitely still like a hobbit town. I didn't know if that distinction was important or if it was just, So to me, like, if I were fast traveling around World of Warcraft, like, it wouldn't mean anything. I'd just be like, okay, get me to the next place. Like, these locations are just the lava level or, stuff like that. Now, where are we? We're in Buckland. You can go to the Old Forest. right? You can actually go talk to Tom Bombadil, which they took out of the movie, but, you know, we can go to this haunted forest, and it does a great job evoking that. Let me get on my mount. You know, the hobbits, their dialogue. I hope you're not trying to cause any trouble. It's just classic. We just want to be left alone vibes. And then intermixed with all this, right? You know, so we've got the Hobbit, but then if you look up to the right, you know, it's the ancient ruins. It's like the feeling that there, and this is what was so great about Elden Ring, the feeling that there was like a story before the story we're in. You know, it gives it a real sense of history that I think resonates with me personally. You got the old forest, the right? This gnarly wooded area. So you can see these things are purple. That means they're probably 6 or 7 levels above or something and would destroy me. But yeah, so like, you know, seeing those ruins up there, one, it's one of those things that makes me want to go there. So I'm level 7, they're level 15, so that's 8 levels. Yeah, I could not survive, I don't think. I think when you get to certain separations in level, like, you know, you're basically, you can't do any damage to them. They just sort of soak it all. And there's not much you can do. So we're not meant to be here for a while, obviously. But I just wanted to... you know, that's part of the crafting. You can mine those things. Red, I think I could have a shot at 14. 7 levels above. It would be tough, but if I could just grind, it would take a long time, but if I could keep my healing going, I might have a shot. So you see, we're making our way to this camp. I think, I don't know if the crafting is done well in this game. Again, I've never really engaged with it. It's one of those things where if you want to have like max level this or that, you should engage with it, and they separate the things. So like a jeweler can mine and do this, but it can't make stuff with wood you would need for some pieces of jewelry or whatever. So then you need the, you know, the woodsmith to trade with you. So they sort of make it these dependencies that exist between the crafting trees, so that, you know, you can't just be completely self-sufficient, which I get. So we've made our way here to the camp, and we're going to unlock this stable master. So again, we could go to West Bree, but we haven't really been there yet, or we can go to Buckland, which we've been to, so now we can pay for that, but we're not going to pay. We're going to just keep going. So at some point you have to choose, like, hey, which do you want? And then I mostly ignore it because, again, for a player versus environment, doing the story quests, it's never that hard. So this is never the game you go to for the challenges, although now they do introduce that difficulty system within game, so you can, I guess, up the challenge, but, you know, whatever. But it's one of those things where, like, what might be helpful, like, you know, because I decided to put myself on camera for this session, at least. You know, I could, like, you know, auto travel and then, you know, because my throat's starting to get a little scratchy, go get another drink. Come back. Probably wouldn't have missed anything. And it kind of, maybe it's a nice perk for streaming. I don't know. So here we are making our way to the western gate of Bree. Greenway Crossing. Again, probably all areas you recognize. If you're familiar with Middle Earth, there's the stuttering. There's literally nothing you can do about that. Let's talk to this stable master. You can, I think you can use the stables to get around Bree itself. Like if I don't want to walk across town, I can I can just Uber it. But we're going to do is we're going to go up this hill really quickly before we continue on with the prologue for a little bit longer, I think. Because we need to get to one of the most iconic inns and probably the inspiration for every single color, animal, inn name, even though it's not technically a color, it's a verb. But here we are at the Prancing Pony Inn. Where so many important events in the story, in the books, kicked off. So, there we go. So where we're trying to go, actually, is we can go to Archet, or we can go to Chetwood. So we need to get back to Combe. You can see, like, Orneric the Undying. So that's obviously another player who's earned that title. And you get that by getting to, like, level 10 or 20 without dying once. That used to be, with certain character classes, I had a real challenge with that. These days, it's not hard to get at all. If you care about that, which also I don't. Just gotta figure out how to get out of here, though. If you look here, you know, like, let me get this out of the way. There's a lot going on. There's different crafting, forge, the studies if you want to be a scholar. Which always struck me as kind of an interesting vocation. I don't know if the gameplay is interesting, but the idea of it is interesting. There's an auction house if you need to trade stuff with other players. You know, there's different crap you can collect and hand in for crap that doesn't matter. It's cosmetics, you know, a lot of like grindy stuff if you want to engage. And the whole point of that would just be like, I want a reason to be here in Middle-earth. So just give me anything, right? This is the only MMO I've ever thought, oh, maybe I'll do a little. But that thought never lasts very long. So I need to get to Combe. So I've actually blown this. I want to go north for 2 intersections and turn right. Am I going north? Posted bill. Turtles in the soup. That's a quest. Okay. You know, good sound design. Again, it's all going for a fairly authentic vibe. Next one. Which I respect and I feel like they accomplish. But I could see how you could argue that the graphics then don't hold up as well as it might in like World of Warcraft, where it's going for a very stylized look and it nails it. Also, to be fair, the World of Warcraft engine does not have the issues that we're having here. The stuttering, for a long time they had a 32-bit engine in this, and I think they finally got it to 64-bit. I think that's the default now. I don't know if you need to. Where are we? Just left Bree. Okay, there we are, right there. So now we're going to go north to Combe. I might actually go to Archet and hand in that quest. Because again, like, I love touring around Middle-earth. But yeah, we're going to go to Combe here. Stay on this north road right into Archet. Get that quest off the books before it becomes... You can see it's like dark blue, which means like it's one level too low for us. And then it go light blue if we gain another level. And every time you... And then eventually it just becomes gray, which means it's basically not worth anything anymore. So you want to sort of hand those in while they're still of value. And what you can do, like you can see the prologue is white. If you speed through the story quest, eventually you'll be a little bit behind. But because you're a little bit behind, the XP benefits are bigger. So I usually like to tackle like yellow and orange quests because, you know, it's going to make me level faster. And speed running the books will help make that possible. One of the places I think I mentioned, you know, we're never going to get to it because, again, I'm only going to do a couple of sessions of this just to, you know, just to get some awareness of this game out there just to blather on about it for a while because I love it so much like all the other games I've talked about. But like Moria was the first expansion. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is gonna be so. And it's a good realization of it. Where do I have to go? Yeah, it's a good realization of Moria, but it was a pain in the butt to quest in. And where's Cal Sprigley? There we go.
What do you need? Would you do something for me?
So there we go. We leveled because of that quest, so at least we, sure. Mounts, great. Map, of course. Probably should have read some of those. Shoulder guard, let's see, this is a 10 armor, so it's a... So again, you can sit here and you can take, like, quests and you'll... I think this person's here in town. I'll get the shoulder pads for talking to him, and then we'll move on.
Greetings.
Oh. Good, you've returned. It seems there's much more going on here than I first thought. While you were away, my cousin Bali arrived, and I sent him to search some caves in the ruins outside the east wall of Archet. A few of the hunters have dropped a huge stone in front of the cave. I wanted him to ensure the stone remained. He has not returned, and I'm worried. So even like these some of these side quests, so maybe this is the one that's going to send us to the basement. But anyway, so you can see like I feel like even like the side quests are still kind of like thematically interesting. But we're not going to do that. We were going to search the Black Wolf. So yeah, we could go up there. But what I really want to do is I'm going to get back onto the prologue. Because, yeah, some of the side quests, I do feel like the story holds up. Some of them are just like, I need to make soup, collect berries, kill wolves for meat. It's not that interesting of a fetch quest. It's just busy work without the disguise of a bit of narrative going on. So... But yeah, with Moria, the questing wasn't... It was difficult because of the 3D nature of the map. So you'd say, like, I just want to go from A to B, and you couldn't get there because the geography would block you, and it wasn't clear on the map that it was going to block you, and then you'd have to, like, loop around. You're like, oh my god, okay, please. But if you stick to the book quests, you get the parts of the story you... are there for. It levels you up appropriately to keep you moving on, and you can just sort of skip all the side content, and you're fine. All right, so we're making our way out into the wilds here. I think you've got like a lumber mill camp out here. Again, more side quests should you choose. Hopefully I feel like if you just stick to the quest, I think you're fine. I don't think you have to... I guess that's the thing. You keep doing these quests until, one of them turns red or something. You realize, okay, let me get a couple of levels before I keep going. So again, we're trying to head to the Chetwood here because we need to find a recruit's pack to get the plans. Find out what's going on. Again, just a fetch quest, but thematically they make it a little more interesting. If I were, like I said, if I were a burglar, I wouldn't need to worry about any of these creatures. I could just enter stealth mode. It might take a little while, but I would be fine. Let's see what I can do here. Nope, no line of sight. So again, I still only have the levels I need for up. Now they're fleeing. What deed did I complete? A most curious hobbit. Okay. So you can see the yellows are going to be a level above me. The whites are my level, so this is going to be a little tricky. Let's see if I can pull. Oh, I'm just going to pull them all. Here we go. So we're going to start by getting some... by doing the wrong one. Let's get some healing going. I'm going to stack... if I had other heals, I could stack it. I'm going to keep the healing going, because you can see on the left there, I'm keeping it above 200, but... okay, one's down. And now I don't feel so worried about dealing with this guy, even though he's a level higher. Taking shots. Get back to healing because I've got a 2-on-1 going and one of the guys is a level above me. Getting some help from this person. So for the quest, I'm going to collect the pack. Bring the letter to Constable Underhill. Now this should be... maybe it's another quest where you get to collect stuff from there. But, okay. So if I wanted to, what I could do is I could just, again, because you spend some money, you can just click on that for 1 mithril coin. Boom, you're back. So you don't even have to spend the time if you don't want. And we're basically right there. I usually spend the time, though.
A lovely day, isn't it?
Might or fate? I'll take fate. I don't know really the difference.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Now here's an idea. Ellie is looking for new blood, so why not help her out? You could mask yourself as a ruffian and offer to join the Blackwolds, going in undercover. Gain her confidence, and we might find out where the Blackwold leaders are hiding. Of course, it would be dangerous. Do you think you're up to the task? Ellie's house is in the northwest corner of town by the pond. There are some large cages nearby. She breeds dogs, I think. Go and speak with her, and remember, you are a brigand. So we got some new stuff here. We got a shiny copper earring. Let's equip that. I should be selling some of the stuff, but I don't know what it is. I should definitely equip the new shield I got, because what are we doing? Let's see. Armor, 16 armor. What am I... nope. Character. For my cloak, am I just... is it purely cosmetic? I thought I could put one on for armor. Oh, this is good because this one gives you out of combat run speed, so that helps. Maybe a cloak is not... how do you... gloves, helmet, cloak. Okay, so I think I can put this one here. Oh, okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. So where do we go next? We have to go to Combe. Talk to Ellie Cutleaf. Again, if we want to spend the mithril coin, we could bounce there immediately, but we'll do it the proper way. Again, there's all these nooks and crannies to the world.
What can I do for you?
All right, not another one. I thought I'd gotten all those letters back. You better you'd be better served just going home. You don't want to join up with the Blackwalds. I listened to Skunkwood, their leader, and helped them breed some wolves. I admit I did it for the promise of riches, but I regret it. Jagger Jack is their head wolf master, and he had me breed a local wolf with one of them wargs. When they took me into their camp deep within the Chetwood, I got feared right quick. There's something not right there. I've done something terrible, Black Lodge, and I need help getting out. The den mother I helped them breed is kept at Skunkwood's farm in the North Chetwood. She needs to be killed before her next litter is born. Else her pups will do worse damage to the Chetwood and the folk here. Okay, so classic story. She had a price. They paid it, and now she realizes the scope of her evil, and has regret and needs help getting out. Not search for Bali. How do I... That's search for Bali, but deep into the Chetwood is where I want to go. I can uncheck that, and you can see that search for Bali is now gone. It doesn't take it out of my quest log if I want, but you can sort of get details and everything. You can take it out of your quest log if you want. Active quests, I can have 45 going. I don't need to add slots because that's crazy, but maybe if you were just playing the free-to-play, you could only have like 10 going or something. I have no idea. But it can get pretty ridiculous, and you can just be like, boom, boom, boom. Like, everywhere you're going, you're tripping over quest tasks that you need to check off. So let me pause for a second. I'll be right back, and I'm going to get another drink because my throat's starting to fall apart. And yeah, so just give me one quick sec. Okay, we are back. I've got now some ice water. If you're ever wondering, like, if you watch the streams, like half the time, like when we're playing, I'm drinking my just iced tea. And then at some point I'm switching over to water. If you ever wondered why is he doing both? Why is he doing both? It's because my voice starts to go very quickly and I need the water to help out with that. If you ever see me like doing this or looking like I'm a psychopath, my daughter, she loves a lot of things. She's really sweet. She has like some plants that she takes care of. She's doing a great job. And one of them is this avocado tree, which I didn't know you could just grow an avocado tree. I don't know what's going to happen as it gets bigger. But anyway, she's got like, maybe a dozen plants, maybe a dozen and a half plants, a lot of like cactus and things like that. But she has an avocado tree that she actually, there's this, I guess what you do is you soak an avocado seed in water and it softens and it starts to sprout. She did this whole process. And then at some point you plant it. But the problem is, for some reason, like the avocado tree in particular is attracted like crazy amounts of fruit flies. And so we have like fruit fly traps all around that gets a lot of them, but every once in a while, like one just floats through the house and ends up somewhere weird. And there's often one by my desk. So I'm always like, trying not to look insane on camera, but sometimes it's right there near my eyeball. As a man of my age, I get floaters. I don't have floaters plural. I have one, and so sometimes I can't tell. Am I seeing a floater or am I seeing a fruit fly? But that was definitely a fruit fly. So yeah, where we picked off, we were headed over to Chetwood. We talked to someone who, again, there's a lot of insiders here, like the Blackwalds or whoever, the Chetwood, whatever groups have sort of penetrated the towns and gotten people on the inside. Again, some throwbacks to what you found in the Bree module, which I hope to someday run. And I think I may have mentioned this before, like, for the longest time, like, if you wanted to play this old stuff and you wanted to use a VTT, you were out of luck. But then, I don't have it here because I was reading it the other night. Then Against the Dark Master came out, which does not try to hide the fact that it is trying to be sort of like, let's get Middle-earth role-playing back out there in the wild. Then on top of that, I forget the gentleman's name but there is an outstanding Foundry VTT mod for Against the Dark Master, which then means you can basically, without having to do any, I mean, maybe there's some, but for the most part, without having to really adapt anything, you could just pick up old Middle-earth role-playing stuff and go. I believe. I mean, maybe it's not like a one-for-one, but I feel like it's relatively close, and so you could just sort of pick it up and go. Before I really got into looking at Against the Dark Master, I homebrewed because I like tinkering and I'm a psychopath. I homebrewed not entirely my own work. People did some homebrew work for doing Middle-earth and Harn. And so I took some of the stuff that's out there and... Is that what we need to do? And, you know, made some other tweaks. While it's down, see if I can get a couple of boots in. Now get some healing going, because it's a level above me. You can see, you know, it's even a level above, not a big deal. I think we're trying to get... Okay. Oh, maybe it's like a ton of been bred. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, so, you know, I worked on importing into Foundry a homebrew Harn Middle-earth, which I've thought... I don't know. I've never played it, so I can't say in practice if it works. But I feel like on paper it seemed promising, if nothing else. And maybe I'll drag poor Patrick and Matt into that at some point. And the one I started working on, you know, mechanics-wise, you know, you get everything in, but the story I started working on importing first was that Bree module. I've got two. I've got Bree and the Thieves of Tharbad, and then maybe I've got one more. Something, I think they did like a mega dungeon for Middle-earth, and I have that one as well. I think I'm crippled from, yeah. Okay, defensive strike, yeah, it's going to buff my defense. Persevere is going to heal. So yeah, you can sort of like, you know, up your block, evade, whatever, and then up your heal, and then, you know, you can basically just coast through a lot of content. I wish I could remember, because it's stupid, it's right there somewhere, I don't know where. Yeah, anyway, I used to, this is a great tragedy, you know, when I was a kid, I sort of collected a bunch of them. Held on to many of them for a long time, and then when Hurricane Ida hit New Jersey, I probably mentioned, lost a lot of them. Lost all of them, basically. I lost my entire Middle-earth role-playing collection. I think I had some Mirkwoods. I think I had Isengard. Had some others. All gone. And then it came time, I'm like, you know, okay, I want to replace these. And then you start realizing it could be like 80, 90 bucks a pop if you want to get ones in good shape. And then you it was going to be too much money. I just couldn't afford to completely replace everything. So maybe over time I'll chip away at it, but in the moment it was too much. Luckily I'm able to pull these things. I don't know if I'd want to deal with a yellow and an orange at once. I'm sure I could figure it out, but I should probably finish this off with a heal, if I can squeeze it in. Did I get it off? I guess so, yeah. Okay, yeah. So here we are. We're going to start this one off with an ambush just because it's more powerful. That way we can get some damage going. Let's get in there. And let's boot a couple of times. And then let's start a heal. Let's get some defense going. So you can see I'm sort of, making these moment-to-moment decisions. Maybe that's true for all the classes, but for some reason, the moment-to-moment decisions in this one really clicked. There we go. Defeated the mother. I think I might be crippled from the fight. But let's get on a horse and that won't matter. So now we're good to go back to Combe. We can talk to Ellie Cutleaf. Hopefully we can outrun all the wolves. It's kind of stupid, if like I've already leveled a warden, so I feel badly spending money on it. Maybe what I'll do is, like I said, I was going to do these for a couple of sessions. A lot of what I'm doing is I'm waiting for Dragon's Dogma 2 to pop and then get into that a little bit. But I wanted to, again, show this one just because it's been a huge part of my CRPG gaming, and I feel like it's still worth taking a look at if you're into Middle-earth. Maybe at the end of, however many of these I decide to do, I'll jump over to one of my higher level characters, which is a warden, my highest level. And I'll show you, I have access to a ton of areas. I don't think I can get into Mordor. But I can get into Moria, I can get into Angmar, I can get into... And maybe I'll just do a little bit, like, I'll just sort of teleport around a little bit so you can get a glimpse into what some of these places look like and how well this game captures basically everywhere. Saruman's Tower, that area, I feel like I've been there. I've quested that neck of the woods. Yeah, I feel like I'm taking a roundabout shortcut to a different quest. Oh, did I end? Okay. There he is. What's up, Ollie? Oh, find the missing journal plate. I don't want to do any of this. Let's take this off the list. Let's go to there. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I guess I wasn't paying attention. That's the danger, right? Like you have the wrong quest. And next thing you know, you're on the wrong path. But that's okay. Oh, gotta take care of this guy. These are a really good, like a podcast game. There's a real value to those as well. Man, what did I used to watch? I used to, you get a monitor going, you get something going over there. Yeah, I would just sort of blow through television episodes. Like, if I was doing, I didn't watch, the seasons of the X-Files after Mulder left, something like that. It's a good way where you don't actually have to pay attention to every single moment of the screen for the show or the game. You could just sort of bounce back and forth. There's one show I really need to catch up on, and well, I guess it's done for the time being, but it's The Expanse. I love that show, and I've only gotten through like the first 3 or 4 seasons. And the only reason why is because when I'm doing something like this, I love The Expanse so much that I don't want to just have it on out of the corner of my eye. I actually genuinely want to watch it, and I so rarely get a chance to do that. But like, yeah, you could just find some like 7-season show and put it on the side. You can sort of multitask. So here we are back to Combe finally. I wonder if like hardcore players have tracked down exactly what the stuttering is. It's like loading in assets, obviously, of some level. Is it like server lag because of how the servers do something and loading it? You know, who knows? But yeah, like I said, at some point maybe I'll show you, you know, as I wind this down officially. Yeah, maybe I'll come back to it at some point, but I'll show you different areas of the game. Because sometimes, like, when you're, like, you know, it sort of reverses the thing. Like, here, you know, you had the Black Wolves had their little outpost on the fringe of town or whatever.
Greetings.
When you're running around Angmar, you have that feeling. You're the, you know, on the outpost, the hidden thing in the crags of a cliff. Like the front lines of the fight, the lookout for what's going on. So here you go. Now we're going to get to choose a weapon. And you can choose different... You don't have to go with a spear, even though it's sort of the design of the character. The weapons do different things. You can see, like, the sword boosts your parry chance, so it makes you a little more defensive. The hand axe gives you a little bit more crit, so you might do a little bit more damage over time. And then the mace, you know, if they're... You can sort of slow them down a little bit. I guess it also increases your in-combat power regen, which power is the blue bar below the green. Green is morale, your hit points. Blue is in-combat power regen, which gets spent when you're doing different things here. I guess it can be a big deal. Like, and you start blowing through, like, different abilities. I found it was more... There were other classes where I had to worry more about power. I don't know if I ever really had to with
Stay a moment.
the Warden. When Skunkwood took me to the Black Walls encampment in the Chetwood, I met Jagger Jack. Jack is training the wolves for the Black Walls. He keeps most of them deep in the ruins in the north parts of the woods. If we're going to put a stop to the Black Walls, then we may need to do a little mischief of our own. I'm not one to do this, mind you, but we need to stop them wolves before they're used against Combe. Leecher Cartwell can help us and will. Talk to him at his house up on the cliff south of Combe Center. Tell him that I need a poison to kill the wolves. All right. Again, the answer to every problem is to be an extinction level animal event. Okay, so let's equip this new weapon. Starting to bump up our damage output a little bit. Okay. So we're going to run into... You can see we want to go basically right there, but I don't know if we can just go right there because there's going to be a cliff in the way. That is the entirety of my experience. Maybe we can get up. I don't know. You can sort of jump. That was my experience basically in Moria. Every time I wanted to go somewhere, there'd be a cliff in the way. And then I'd have to circle around 4 different other maps and get extremely frustrated that I couldn't just go where I wanted to go. And it wasn't obvious how to get from A to B to C to D. You know, I'd be like, yeah, but is it this path? No, it's not that. Is it that road? No, it's not that road. Okay. You can't go as the crow flies. So you just, eventually you're just like, what? So how do, you know, and then finally you find it, but you spend 45 minutes doing it. And you're like, I want to experience the world, but I don't want to
Greetings, friend.
engage with that sometimes. Ellie got herself in trouble, did she? I've been near the wood of late to gather herbs and such. Something has the animals there stirred up for certain. If this will help make things right between Ellie and the comb folk, I will help. I think I know just the thing. I'll need fresh honey, blackwort root, and several red berries. There are beehives behind the abandoned house south of Combe. The berries grow in patches in a valley just over the hill. Blackwort root is found near the wolf den in the north Chetwood. So we were just there, so we're going to be going back there. You know, let's browse the shop.
How may I help you today?
Again, just to repair. We're getting a little bit of durability hits. I guess we could sell. We could sell the honed spear. We're done with that. So I don't know. Let's see if we can bring up our character. Why don't we turn around? I don't know what we're wearing for a shirt. It's cosmetic. So that might be a problem. I'm wearing cosmetic armor for real armor. So let's correct that. Okay, at least I've got decent pants on. Leather shoes, I'm doing okay. But the leather, where's the shirt? It's so hard to tell where things are in this. Wood spear, we don't need any of this. I start to organize stuff by like, what can I sell, what can I, but it doesn't really translate necessarily. We don't need that. Leather shirt, 1 armor, we don't need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find the shirt that I want to equip. And then see if I can move the... So now we get the hauberk back. So let's... shoulder, helmet, cloak. So now we're going to put this on the cosmetic. See, I'm nervous that I'm not actually wearing armor. And I don't mind how things look, whatever. I just... Oh, I see, because this is what you're actually wearing. Then you switch over to the outfit. Got it, okay. And then you can start putting... Got it. Okay, so then you can switch this cloak. But you're still whoops, no. That just zooms in. But then you're still wearing the other stuff. Got it. So this is what my equipment would look like. This is what the world's gonna... Whoops. The world's gonna see. Okay, cool. And I think you could even... Cosmetically speaking, I think you can... make it look like you're using something when you're not, which is fine. I don't go too nuts. Like sometimes, like you find an outfit like that just has like a nice classic look. Fine, great. But I don't get too into that. Okay, so now I'm still doing this wrong though. So we're going to wear the following outfit. So that's what people are going to see. Even though this is what I'm equipped with. Okay. It's a nice look. You know, the hat might not be fully worked out, but it's a good looking hat. So where are we? So again, it's just, you know, a giant collection. There's some beehives nearby. And we're going to concoct a poison to kill the wolves that... person helped the Blackwolds create. Let me see. So somewhere around here is the honey, I believe. I thought. There we go. So we need to collect honey. I don't know how many times you have to collect it. Good enough. So now we can collect the roots, which are going to be south of Saddle, I guess, or around Saddle. And it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But I'll sit here and be like, okay, I'm going to go to Saddle, but then to Bree, then I'm going to cut over to the Lone Lands, you know, and I feel like, you know, it's when like your uncle sit there and is like, yeah, I took the turnpike down to the parkway, down to the bridge, and, you know, traffic was good. But it really does make me feel like I'm out and about here in Middle Earth. If you jump in the water, you can swim, but it'll make you dismount. There's an area of the map, Evandim, which is a lot of people used to joke as Everswim, because you'd be cutting back and forth to different sides of the lake, and it was actually faster just to swim across it than to circumnavigate it. But as you can see, we're starting to head into the Chetwood. It's getting a little bit more, a little less lush, a little more swampy. Got to hit up these berry bushes. Gotta be a little careful. Everything here is a couple levels above us. That's what orange means. I think it means like 2 levels above. Let's see. I am 8. They are 12. Oh, whoops. 4 levels above. We can still take them, but you gotta be careful. There's another one. Or the one I just grabbed just respawned in my confusion. I think sometimes when I would take on like jobs, I would choose either Scholar, because it just seemed narratively interesting, or like whatever the metalsmith thing was, because then I could just mine these things and I didn't have to pay attention to like the rowan branches or what like the forester can get. I wouldn't pay attention to what you could do with the things. I would just sell them and you can make decent money. Not that money's ever an issue, but am I still in the right? Okay, so I'm a little too far south. So I'm just, again, trying to be careful with all these rampaging bears and boars. And can I just thread the needle there and get through? There's another one. We're looking for 4 more. As I've said, as a burglar, I could just sneak in. And while you collect the berries, you would come out of hiding. But if you could sort of do it right, you could... I think I'm going to need to take... Let me go for it. Are these guys openly hostile? Probably, yeah. Here we go. Trying to kill this guy quick. Doing a decent job. I'm not sure if the bear is on me yet. It is now. So let's get some healing going, because I took some damage. A little more healing going. I don't know if it stacks. I know different healing gambits do stack, but I don't know if the same one stacks or just keeps it fresh. Okay, so now I got my defense up a bit. Got my healing up a bit. I'm going to do some more healing, because it might be getting ready to fade away. Yeah, each one has a certain number of, like, I think they call them impulses, but I think the reality is it's like, you know, like each impulse fires like once a second. It might have 6 impulses, so it's 6 seconds. So you sort of have to know how long it lasts. You internalize that a little bit, and then you can sort of in your gut know, like, okay, I think I need to get another one of these going. Finish off. Nope, it died before I could do anything. Okay, I was going to finish off with another heal, but it looks like I'm fully healed anyway. So I collected the berries, I collected the honey. All that's left now is the black root, which is going to be deeper in the forest that the, what's it called? The Chetwood. All right, so yeah, we're cutting through Stadel. We're gonna cut around the outskirts, and I think Stadel is sort of like another Hobbit. Yeah, but again, not in the Shire. I'd be curious to know what the lore is, but we're going to circumnavigate these red threat Blackwall thieves because we're not ready for that. It comes sort of like this swampland, ancient ruins in it. I wonder how you, is it Control F? Yeah, you can sort of see the frames per second, right? Let me move that down. But you can see, like, I'm getting plenty of frames per second. It's just that the game stutters. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. This is a 1440p resolution. All the graphics are maxed out. I have a GeForce 4080. I have 128 gigs of RAM. I don't know what impacts the stuff, but that's some of the... I've got an Intel 13,000 whatever level CPU, I think. I don't know. Okay, there's the root. So that's the kind of... it's a good computer. I have it for work, video editing, so it serves that function well. But there's just not much you're going to be able to do. I'm not a frames per second whore. I think if I'm getting above 60, I'm golden. In the past, I would, if I were getting above 30 with everything, I would choose 30 with max graphics, but I'm getting more to the point where I think I want 60. At a minimum, and then I'll, take whatever graphic quality hits I need to take to get that. I think it was, what was it? Ghost Recon Wildlands, or the second one, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. One of those, I was like, you know what, I think I can tell. I can tell that it's not 60 frames per second, and as gorgeous as the game might be, for this particular one, I think I want that smoother. But it is interesting. I mean, like, the frames per second are all over the place in this, right? For a game that's like 17 years old, which is nauseating to say, it seems like you'd be getting a rock steady 120. But that's why I was saying earlier, like, the the lifetime subscription was one of the best deals I've ever had in my whole life, to be honest with you. As funny or sad as that might be. Okay, we're bringing this to Leecher Cartwell. Back on the cliff. As you can see from the bar down below, we are right there at the cusp of leveling. So I could see this quest getting us over the hump to 9. But yeah, so basically, like, for $200 or $300, I've had a subscription to this game. I'm going to do the math really quickly, just to get some rough idea. So the game's been around for 17 years, times 12 months, times, I don't know, was it like $15 a month? At $15 a month, that's $3,000. I paid $300. 17 times 12, it was $10 a month. Still $2,000. The other thing about that is, ooh, bam, I whacked my... I don't know if I would have stuck with the game if I had to pay for it, but knowing that it was just, like, guilt-free on some level. And I recently... Okay, there you are. It'll be just a moment, and I'll have the poison for you. Be careful with this. It'll hurt not you nor I, nor even the little folk, except perhaps to make us mildly ill. But the normal woodland creatures would suffer terribly if you don't use caution. She returned to Ellie and let her know that the poison is ready. Like, I recently got the lifetime subscription to Alchemy, We've been using it recently for Vaesen. I don't know how much we're going to use it overall. It was not cheap. And hopefully it will inspire me to put it to good use, because I think it's working pretty well for certain things. And I think with certain UI tweaks, I think it could be phenomenal. But I can tell you, if it didn't have that lifetime option, I would have written it off entirely. Or I would have tried it for one thing and then probably never gone back. But having the lifetime option, I think, which I guess is the point, you know, keeps it in the conversation for me well past its expiration date. Now, this game, it's hard. There's a chance I would have actively paid the subscription. So I'm kind of grateful that they let me take the easy way out. Oh, there she is, okay.
How can I be of service?
Yeah, the poison from Cartwell. I trust Cartwell. Now that we have the poison, we may be ready to strike at the Blackwalds in their Chetwood home.
Could I speak with you a moment?
If I'm to help ye, then ye've got to trust me. We need to deal with the wolves and their keeper, Jagger Jack. Jack spends his time talking to those strange, dark-skinned men within the ruins occupied by the Blackwalds. Find him and kill him, else he'll keep breeding his wolves with the warg. While you search for Jack at the camp, look for corpses of dead beasts, sheep, cattle, even deer. It's likely those poor creatures are the food for the wolves. Use the poison on their corpses, and we may kill off a good number of Jack's beasts. While you deal with Jack and the wolves, I'll talk to Skunkwood and others about a new recruit I've found. I might be able to get you into Skunkwood's hideout. Okay, so we did level. We're at level 9. You can see this is meant to be a level 11 quest, so it's yellow. It's a couple levels beyond us, but that's good. That's like, for me, yellow's the sweet spot. So where are we trying to get to? Back into the Chetwood. Okay. All right, let's get back into the wilds. One of the things I mentioned in other RPGs is how, like, I find it very satisfying to see things that'll kick your ass, and then later on they are but a trifle. And MMOs in general are going to be that way, but, you know, I still find it satisfying. All these things are going from white to dark blue to light blue, and soon they won't bother me at all. I think when something's like so low level, like you basically won't get any XP for it, their names are grayed out, so to speak, and I think they actually won't even attack you anymore. Even if they're hostile to a normal player character running by, they just ignore you. Yeah, I mean, I know I keep mentioning World of Warcraft. That's the main other MMO I've played. Maybe it'd be different in Final Fantasy XIV or something, but I just never got the wonder running around the world that I get here. Just doesn't mean anything. Oh, I entered this area? Okay, yeah, okay, that doesn't mean anything. So, New Deed, Ruins of Breeland. So, this is one of those ways I was saying you could sort of earn LOTRO points. You know, if you find all the ruins, you what you get. You'll get 5 LOTRO points, you get 30 marks, more currency to grind, 2,000 virtue. Like, there's just 15,000 different things to, but I just ignore all of it. I will say, though, it gives you a good reason to explore. Like, these ones I don't mind. The ones where you have to, like, kill 40 of these and kill 70 of those. The exploration ones I often found myself leaning into a little more. Okay. Okay, we got some healing going. Let's boost some defense. Oh, that's goads. That's not defense. I think I already had her attention, so that wasn't a problem. This is defense. Let's start with some defense. Let's get some healing. What does a 3-2 do? War Cry. It's a different kind of... So that's the thing, right? Like, at somewhere there's a list, I think. Skills. Basic gambits. Okay, here you go. So, what we have here is we have a quick thrust, we have a shield bash, we have the warden's taunt, and then the gambit. We have restorative shield work, which is just a boost. We have some javelin skills. Did I not put warning shot? Oh, no, I did. Okay. Return home is going to get me to, I guess, Archet. I should change that. Then we have the gambits. So now you can see, this is good. We've got determination gambits, defensive strike, goad, persevere, war cry. So we've got, I set it as 2, which is my shield bash. So 2-2 is a defensive strike. You can see it, I guess just does some damage. Goad is going to draw attention. Impressive flourish. It's going to increase your threat over time. And that means more people are going to be onto you, but it's not going to happen all at once. So you can sort of build this up so people keep paying more and more attention to you. And as you can see, then it also boosts your parry rating. Persevere is a heal. It heals 21 right off the bat. It heals 28 every 3 seconds for 9 seconds. So it's got like 3 impulses. They fire off every 3 seconds. You can get things that sort of extend that. War Cry does some light damage, and then... Oh, so that might be... Okay, so 3-2 is an AoE attack. It's an area of effect damage. So this we got Deft Strike, a Weak Strike, Offensive Strike, a Swift Double Attack. I'm not making use of these. Light damage over time is not just like light damage, like I'll have like a light lunge. It's a type of damage that will impact evil creatures more. The boot. Okay, so the boot's important. You don't want to just blow the boot. So if somebody's sort of charging up a big attack, you can use the boot to interrupt them. So that's, okay, I remember that now. Okay, good to know. So those are the gambits I have to work with so far. So I don't want to just gambit. I just don't want to boot as like an extra damage. Let's see what happens here. If I go 3-1, precise blow. Let's try 2-1. That's persevere, right? 1-3. Nope, didn't give it to me. What's 1-3? Offensive strike. Is that the double? That's what I was trying to figure out. Is that the double? Now 3-1. Oh, can't do it. I was trying to figure out which one was War Cry. 3-1. Precise blow. So right there, I could interrupt her. I don't think I did it fast enough, but when you see that little glow around their feet, that means they're gearing up for some bigger attack. And Which one was Warcry? Why am I not remembering? Warcry's... Oh, 3-2. Okay. Now, most of these you don't end up using most of the time. You sort of have your, like, 3 or 4 you stick with. So that would do AoE, I think. And so what ends up happening is eventually... you can get up to 5. Right now we only have 2, but eventually you can have 5. And so you're doing some pretty complicated patterns. But you sort of internalize the, you know, you get a couple of healing, a couple of attack buffs, and then you're good to go. As that Blackwall lookout walks away from me murdering. It's like you had one job, Blackwall. Deft Strike is some weak sauce, but I did it anyway. There we go. So now the Shattered Pitcher, I think, would be like a lore thing. Yeah, if you had Scholar, if you were a Scholar, you could use the Scholar's Glass and you could, yeah. Anyway. Okay, buff up some defense. Let's get some healing going. No reason. Again, not that we're in any real danger here, but we'll do it anyway. Warcry, gotta practice that because it's AoE. So let's start poisoning stuff. Gotta poison 6 food sources. See if we can pull. So this didn't work out because now this pulled this scout, which is going to be doing range damage. So I gotta start being a little careful. So I'm gonna buff up some defense. No, I'm gonna take care of this guy. Buff up defense, get some healing going, because you can see my healing's going, my health is going down. Take on this one, get some more healing going. Didn't need to boot, but I did it anyway. Okay. Now, eventually there's a chance those guys will come back and continue the fight, but they should still be at their old damage levels. They just run away for a while. And when they run away, you know, I use that as a moment to focus on the next target when I'm getting swarmed. Nope. Did I pull it off? Okay. How many have I done? I've done 4, so I need 2 more. Did I not do it? There we go. This is not... Okay, 1 more, I guess. Again, start by buffing up some defense. Follow that up with a little heal over time. And then I should be good to go. Some are going to be like damage over time. You know, there's all the classic MMO tropes that you can... Now I got to defeat Jaggered Jack. Although I don't know where. Okay, so you're starting to see, like, you have the black-wooled wolf keeper, then you have the wolfhound, which is an ally. So they, if you pull one, you're going to pull both. They go in tandem. You've got this thing over here, this totem. There's a good chance that's going to do some kind of like I forget what they call it in this game. Okay, this isn't good. So let's get some damage over time, I guess. Let's see if it works. Yep. Okay, let's get some defense. So we're not going to panic, but you can see it's doing... Get some healing. More healing. More AoE. little more buff to my defense. But again, you know, after the initial hit, we're fine. Right? Don't need to goad because it's just us, but why not? I'm going to add a little more healing. I forget. I wish I... So, Angmar Warrior. So now you're starting to see, like, the story, right? We've said, you know, we've been hearing, like, yeah, they've been getting help from Angmar. And here's the proof. We now have an actual Angmar representative dispatched to Chetwood to help out. So it's, again, it's sort of crafting this narrative. You know, hey, there's something bigger going on, so to speak. That I think is really well done. You know, I've said it over and over, but the thing is, when you get close to things like that, these relics of Angmar, you're going to cower. It's going to... Okay, so it's on. It's all on here. 3, 2... That's going to do some damage over time. Let's get some defense going. Great. Then we're going to get some healing going. Keep that bar up a little higher. Get some healing again, even though I think we're okay. Okay, let's get to Jagger Jack. Get some defense up again. Top that off with some healing, and then we should be good to just beat the crap out of him and generally outlast him. Keeping an eye out for any potential attack we need to interrupt. Yeah, let's see what happens when we get closer. If it starts to... There, you can... That flash that tells you your... What's the mechanic called? Dread. That's what it's called. The longer you spend here, the more time you spend here, the more it affects your morale. Certain things, you know, just give you a tickle of dread. Certain things will wreck you. Like, your whole bar will suddenly fall to pieces. Let's check out the supply crate. So again, I think thematically by using morale instead of hit points, it allows you to have this mechanic. Are we doing this again? That I think works really well. Even if maybe the end result is not that different. Get some healing going. Yeah, sometimes like the attacks you want to interrupt will be something that might like cripple you or put some status effect on you. So you want to deal with those so you're not just having to deal with those if you don't want. So yeah, we're done here, I think. So let's go back to Cutleaf. We've sort of taken out a lieutenant. We've discovered concrete proof that there truly is a connection with Angmar. Ooh, there's a warg. I thought looked like a name warg, so maybe that's the warg they're breeding with, and we're gonna have to deal with them at some point. Probably what'll happen is we'll go all the way back and then say, "Hey, go kill the warg," and then we'll come all the way back here. But so be it. So yeah, I mean, if there are people who have watched this deep into the video, and B, have played other MMOs, except maybe not Final Fantasy XIV, which I've heard is really an amazing narrative experience. I'd be curious to know, does what Lord of the Rings Online is attempting to do narratively hold up against other MMOs, or is it pretty typical for this space? I truly don't know, having never... World of Warcraft, you know, I just... It's mechanically a lot more, I guess, fun on some level. Not a lot more fun. It's It's more mechanically polished on some levels, so I just engaged the mechanics and it became truly mindless. Here, I've always paid a little bit of attention, and maybe that's just my personal preferences and bias toward wanting to like Middle-earth stuff. Sprigley's Farm. Taking a weird way to get there, I'll say. Give the writers credit for all the synonyms they have to come up with to describe diseased, maddened, you know, all the descriptors to try and separate one wolf from another. So maybe what we'll do, you know, we've been at this for a while. I know nobody watches videos this long, but I don't know how many of these I'm going to make. So I really wanted to take care of some business. Maybe I'll pause this video for now. And we'll pick up another session. Because you can see this is still prologue, right? Like this is all the beginning to the big story that Lord of the Rings wants to tell. And like I said, all the prologues are different. There's the elf, the dwarf, and I think that's how it sort of handles an opening branching path.
Might I take a moment of your time?
All right, the hideout. You've done all that was asked of ye, and you've done a good job of it too. So I suppose it's time to show ye where to find Skunkwood. He's second under Egan, one of the strange men that I mentioned. Skunkwood handed the Blackwalds over to them a short time ago. That's when bad changes started taking place around here. Skunkwood's used me, and a lot of other good folk here in Combe. Everything you've seen so far in Chetwood should prove that to you. We've risked a lot to have a chance to stop the Blackwalds. Well, you didn't. You're the part of the problem, but okay. Once and for all, Black Lodge, it's time we finish this. The hideout is located at the foot of the Staddle Falls, at the northwest end of Staddle Pond. You'll be welcomed inside. Maybe you'd best go talk to that fellow you've been working for first, though. Sure. So we should talk to the ranger. And I think that's why, you know, so I've sort of done like the prologues for Dwarf, Elf, Human. I've never messed with Bjorn or whatever it is. And of the three, I personally prefer this story. They're all solid. They all have good stuff to do. But for my personal taste, I ended up preferring dealing with bands of ruffians around towns of good folk. The hobbits, I think you end up going into like the haunted forest for a bit. I might have that wrong, but I think that's part of their story. One of the cool places you can go to is the Barrow Downs. You know that from Middle Earth. So, that was the Barrow Downs. Yeah, Bree. Oh no, wait, Bree and the Barrow Downs is this one. Okay, I was gonna say I remember having one that was involved the Barrow Downs, but that's part of Bree. So. Again, is there any reason to go to the trainers at this point? Browse the shot now.
How can I be of service? Greetings.
Like, did they just get rid of this entirely and give it to you? Or is it just because I haven't hit level 10? Maybe that's it. I'm not far from level 10, but... No, I just need... Oh, no. I know what it is, because I keep going into the training hall instead of the inn. There is fall damage. If you fall, too high, you'll die. Certain heights, you'll be crippled for like a minute. So you do want to be a little careful of jumping off every cliff. Again, you can repair, sell. Like this is definitely, you can sell. This is... Can you rough furs, again, it's just a trophy you can sell. Sometimes there are items that will get you like faction, but even those I'd probably sell. Like hides can be used in crafting. I can give those to somebody. This is you can turn this into tasks for the Shire. I don't care. But you want to do this, one, for the cash, two, to free up the space, because eventually you're going to start getting a lot of stuff. And it gets tough to track. Like, okay, what should I be wearing? What am I doing here? Get rid of some of my old stuff. Okay. All right, so we got a little bit of money going. Now we're up to 10 silver. Again, remember, in the old days, you needed 5 gold. So that was the equivalent of getting like 5,000 silver. We have 10. You needed 5 gold to be able to buy a mount. So even when I hit level 35, I couldn't buy a mount. I had to keep questing, and I forget when I actually finally got it, but
What do you need?
All right, you've returned with news of the Blackwold leaders. You've done well. Now is the time to move against Skunkwood and Egan. You should make your way to the hideout of theirs and speak to Skunkwood. Once there, tell him you heard rumor about the prisoner they took from Archet and would like to see if the tales about him are true. Once you make your way to Amdir, free him and make your escape. I will follow you to the hideout and aid you. Hurry now. All right, so let's do this. Well, we'll pick it up next time with that quest. I think that might be getting near the end of the prologue. Should I just do it now? No, let's call this. I've been doing this for a while. So we'll pick this up. We'll finish up the prologue next time. We'll see what happens with the first book series or whatever, and we'll, assuming I'm remembering that correctly, and we'll go from there. So, thanks again. This has been Black Lodge Trivia Night. Again, mainly we are an actual play podcast, tabletop RPGs. Once a month, we also have an RPG discussion podcast that we put out. The last one we did was a review of Free League's Dragonbane, which, spoiler alert, you can go watch it, but the short of it is that we were big fans of it. And yeah, otherwise, there's going to be, computer role-playing game stuff here going up as well to bridge the gap between our tabletop sessions. And we really appreciate everybody who checks this out, and hopefully you had some fun with this. If you want audio versions of the tabletop stuff, just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever you get your podcast. We should show up. If you're watching this on YouTube and you already found the channel, but if you want, like, subscribe. We have a Discord going on where we talk about CRPGs and mainly tabletop RPGs. Sometimes we get an occasional game arranged on there if you're looking for people to play an RPG with. But otherwise, appreciate everything, and thanks for checking this out again, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.